Folks, you may have heard me talk about my friends at YRefi before. What they do is truly amazing. So, are you struggling with private student loan debt? Is even your minimum payment higher than what you can afford? Maybe you're even in default? Well, you're not alone, and YRefi can help. They refinance private student loans that others won't touch, and they'll give you a custom loan payment based on your ability to pay. They work with each borrower individually to craft a payment that works for them. They can help you reduce your monthly payment and your total costs. You'll get a low fixed interest rate that you couldn't get anywhere else, and you'll be able to see that light at the end of the tunnel. And, important to note, YRefi does not care what your credit score is. Is private student loan debt wrecking your life and destroying your dreams? You don't have to live with this stress and worry anymore. Just go to YRefi.com, that's YREFY.com, and make sure you tell them that Riley sent you.
Live from New York, it's a show that is not falling for any of Brew's misdirections today. He's been trying to set me up all day. Not falling for it. Locked in.
I got no misdirect.
It's a great part of the show.
I know, but if he wants to trick me, he's going to have to work for it.
No, he doesn't. It's always obvious, and you get tricked every time.
I got you last time, though.
Brew,
I cracked a smile because I felt bad that I got you and
Brew
both
starts
of y'all.
to get me, and then his tell, I got to play cards with Brew sometime. He has a tell. He starts to smile.
I will.
It's not hard to pick up, America.
The
corners
time,
of his mouth turn upwards when he's about to do a trick.
It can be a little bit like professional wrestling. You know
what's coming?
A little bit, but you're there for the show anyways, you know? Like once Hogan
I'm going to give
drops the
straight
leg.
up facts.
Yeah, I can't wait.
That's
This
all I'm going to do.
could be the best show we've ever done.
And we're debuting a new segment.
Oh, God. You didn't clear that with us.
Is it finally time?
That'll
be good.
Watch that.
Let's start the show. Roll the animation, Dust.
That's a whole different segment.
I'm sorry.
Today,
wrong show.
Wemby off of Castle's back to lose Game 2. Is there any chance Wemby can come back?
That's bad.
In Game 3, meanwhile, it's World Cup week. Voice of the World Cup, John Strong, joins the show to talk Team USA and one of the best goals I've seen this year.
I'm going to make a bold statement. That was one of the best losses ever.
Really?
Great loss.
Stay tuned.
Great
Analytically,
loss.
we won that game. No irony.
Oh, yeah. Where's Kenny Atkinson when you need him?
Finally.
Great loss.
Josh Allen. In a new article by our friend Tyler Dunn, who Nick might work for.
No,
Nick is his biggest fan.
I like promoting
He really nailed the
print media.
Caleb one.
Tyler Dunn went out on his own, has a Substack, and publishes really valuable long-form stuff.
Yes.
The Caleb stuff's
It's hard
great.
to get that stuff now.
Yeah, absolutely. The Josh Allen stuff's great. I support it.
Yes. I'm saying it was good. It was a compliment to you.
No, you were saying I was on the take.
I mean, you're just like, guys, I haven't read the article yet. We're doing this B2.
By the way, it's a 20-page article.
Yeah, he's like, and now you need to read this.
Before
Settle
the show.
down. I had to take my shoes off. Chris Broussard, Kevin Wilds, Nick Wright. Power Pack Show. There are new segments.
Gianna, send me that so I can send it to Tyler Dunn. Get my little piece of the revenue.
We start in New York City, Game 3 tonight. Knicks coming home after taking both games in San Antonio. We've all heard the chorus of Knicks in 4. Mitch Johnson and Wemby not ready to throw in the towel just yet. Take a listen.
We don't feel like we played well or up to our standard, at least, in the last 2 games. New York's played very well, and they're a part of that. But we're going to go into Game 3, and if we play our brand of basketball up to our standard, we'll be just fine.
I think we need to put ourselves in better conditions. We're digging ourselves a hole. That's been the theme so far.
Okay, Brew, here are the stats. No finals team has ever come back from losing the first 2 at home, but, silver lining, 5 teams have come back once being down 0-2 in the finals to win. Most recently, Giannis's Bucks, and famously LeBron's Cavs. Is this series over?
Over? Is the series over? No, it's not over. All right? I'm serious. You think I'm playing around. They thought it was over when Minnesota took Game 1 in San Antonio 2 rounds ago. They thought it was over when the defending world champions with the two-time MVP went up 3-2 on them.
Yes.
That's true.
All right? I like the Spurs post-game demeanor and comments.
Wow.
They are down but not defeated. That's what they're projecting.
That's true.
They are bloodied but not unbowed. They still believe. So no, Wilds, it is not over. Really? I don't think it's over. I really don't.
We're all waiting. Feels like it's over.
It looks bleak.
Yes.
It looks bleak, and I am no longer 10 toes down. I'm 3 toes down.
Okay.
Maybe even 2.5.
Okay.
All right? But, Nick, I said Friday if they lost. I don't think I said it's definitely over, but it was. I felt like
you
if
wouldn't
they lose,
like
it's
your
over.
chances.
Yeah, I felt like Friday if they lose, it's over. They played well enough in the second half, coming back from that 14-point deficit, where I actually feel like that gives them life. Like where they can go into this. Look, they've led both games by double figures.
Yeah.
Both games have been close.
True.
All right. And they played well enough in coming back where, like I said, they have hope. They got to have hope. And I think they really do believe that they have a chance to come back and win this. So I'm just thinking make it a series at this point. But I do believe I feel, Nick, more confident. If you would have told me Friday they were going to lose and be down 2-0, I would have really had no confidence they can win the series or even make it much of a series. I feel today more confident about being down 2-0 than I would have Friday because, like I said, they played well, they made it. It's a game. These are close games. This isn't Cleveland. This isn't, some of those other series where the Knicks were just routing everybody.
That's true.
These are close games. They obviously he's not playing like the best player in the world, but he's best player in the world, arguably. If he can get it going, I just think they have hope. And so I think, it looks bad, but
it does look bad. Okay. And, there's another way to look at, the Spurs double-digit leads, which is the Knicks have had double-digit fourth-quarter leads in all of these games, and we can get into that in a moment. But this is, people want to hear what Brew thinks about this. So I was trying to figure out a way to add a little panache to my take on it. I mean, the bar even says, Brew, is this series over? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to lean on some friends. Hit up my buddy Adam Lefko because he knows some important people. Snuck into KW's old Rolodex to get one of his old colleagues and got Kenny Smith and Hall of Famer Vince Carter to answer the question for me.
Oh, that's nice.
Is this series over? Play the video, please.
It's over! It's over, ladies and gentlemen!
It's over.
Not bad. Not bad.
It's over. And there has been the Knicks, in my opinion, have, for the majority of this series, dominated the games. And then at the exact same moment of both games, played 4 minutes of terrible basketball in a way I've never seen it line up just like this. From the 6-minute mark to the 2-minute mark of the fourth quarter of both of these games, the Spurs have gone on crazy runs. Mm-hmm. Every other section of the game, the Knicks are killing them. So
the first game was the Spurs had a lead.
The Spurs had the Spurs. There has not been any.
I don't mean the 14. I mean in the first half.
They had a lead. But so if you just the first 2.5 quarters of this, go to the next one, Dust. The first 2.5 quarters, the Knicks are winning 191 to 169. The final 2 minutes, the Knicks are winning 16-5. The midway mark of the fourth quarter of both of these games, the Spurs have gone on these great runs to either tie the game or in this one briefly take the lead, and then the Knicks steal it back at the end. Mm-hmm. It feels to me, Brew, like early in the games, the Spurs not take control, but the Spurs establish what they're going to do. And then the Knicks, it was in the third quarter of game one and it was in the second quarter of game two, are like, oh, okay, here's how we're going to deal with it. And then they take back control. They've now played 5 times this year. The Knicks have won 4 of them.
OKC.
Yes,
Spurs.
the Knicks have won 4 of them. They haven't been blowouts, I understand. And they've won 4 in a row. And the Knicks have done this, KW, with Jalen Brunson shooting 34 from the field, 24 from 3. And the Spurs defense has been great, but I think he'll shoot better than that the rest of the series, even if he doesn't shoot great. And Josh Hart's got 3 points total in the series, and the Knicks are up 2-0.
18 minutes a game.
Right, he got in foul trouble. And so I would be gobsmacked if the Knicks went from winning 4 out of 5 against the Spurs to losing 4 out of 5, which is what it would take. I'm not saying the sweep is a guarantee, but
it's never been done.
It's never been done in this fashion where you've got to go on the road and game.
I will say this, though, and again, I feel there's a little bit of me, maybe it's just I'm trying to stick with my pick, that feels similar to how I felt when the Cavs were down 3-1 to Golden State in 2016. Now, the Cavs got a boost when Draymond was, he's suspended for Game 5. But I felt like it's probably 3-1, it's probably over. But I felt there was some hope there. And we know how that turned out.
If Wemby does what LeBron did in the next 3 games, then it's not over. I don't think he's ready to do that at that point of his career.
He doesn't look ready.
Yeah. So let's dig in on the end of Game 2. Wemby throws an outlet pass off of Stephon Castle's back.
Then fouls.
That didn't work. Then he fouls Jalen Brunson. Brunson only makes 1 of 2 threes, so there is a chance for Wemby to win the game. But this is the open shot. Wemby shoots it, bricks, falls down for no reason.
SGA.
Here's Wemby postgame.
I need to have more poise, more control over the game. I'm not going to go through the whole possessions, but that's the general image.
No. Yeah, it's wild. Sorry, we're talking about the falling down.
It just was. At first, I was like, "Oh man, did they get away with a foul?" Like it tricked me a little bit, but no, there was nothing. Just
it can throw off your balance.
Yeah, that's what it seems weird.
It's also just lame.
Yeah.
No,
I agree.
All right, your reaction to Wemby's mistakes at the end of the game.
All right, I think there are a couple important lessons from how the last player with GOAT potential in this media environment was covered that we can take from this. And that's how LeBron was covered throughout his career. And the first one is, it is foolhardy to make overarching judgments about a player's career, trajectory, clutch gene, or anything based on isolated moments early in their career. And folks that do that early on and then tether themselves to that opinion can spend a career trying to justify it in the face of mounting evidence.
Right.
So that's first point. The second lesson, if you will, from the way LeBron was covered is being held to the LeBron standard is an honor. And a lot of great players who have come up short in big moments haven't received that type of vitriol because we say they're not going to be LeBron. Like, they're not in the GOAT competition.
Right, absolutely. That's fair. And can I say something quickly about that? I looked at this as, people say Father Time is undefeated. Mm-hmm. The final stage is undefeated versus young superstars. It's not just LeBron. And LeBron did it twice, 2007 and 2011, his first 2 finals. Larry Bird, in his first finals, he wasn't MVP. He wasn't the finals MVP. This is a second year. He was in his second year. 2 back-to-back 8-point games. Think about that. Larry, if Wemby went back-to-back 8-point games, or LeBron had done that, he'd be getting killed. And then Shaq against Hakeem. Now it wasn't this bad, but Hakeem outplayed Shaq. And Magic was obviously had won a couple of championships.
And then had his
but in
rough
1984,
moment.
tragic. The best point guard in the world. Dribbling out the clock. So I think that is important context. With that said, this was a catastrophic end. Oh, yeah.
And it is a catastrophic end, a multi-level failure. I'm going to put a little bit, you might not like this, KW, at the feet of Mitch Johnson.
More than a little bit.
Okay, because there had just been a timeout. The game was tied. He has to tell the team, guys, if we get a stop, last shot is what we want. It's tie game. You have no, last shot, even if you're saying we don't want to call a timeout after the stop, let them know, take your time.
I'm guessing he said that because they wanted to beat the Knicks defense down the floor.
Because even if you beat the Knicks down the floor, they have a timeout.
Take your time.
Yeah, right. Take your time. What you want is, when Wemby gets that rebound, it should be, we are guaranteed overtime at worst.
Yes.
And they were guaranteed overtime at worst if not for that. So I will put more on the coach than the player. But on the player, this is after he was so good for the second half, after being so bad for the first half. The final couple minutes were brutal. It wasn't just this play. And I just want to show you, Brew, every shot Wemby took in the final 2 minutes. All right, so here's one. He gets the ball there, keeps going further back, air ball.
That's where it started. Like, he should have. He had time to gather himself and get a decent three. Like, he rushed it, or he should have just tried to get a better shot.
And so, Dust, you can just let it roll one more time. Because what you're going to see is 3 jump shots missed, 1 slash to the basket, and 1 to take the lead. So there's the airball 3 that kind of got lost in the madness of the end of the game, because he then came down and did this, which makes a lot of sense for a 7'5" freak show. The next play, I guess they want a 2-for-1. I don't know why he's 18 feet from the basket.
Classic, let's take a bad shot.
Well, he's always at least 18 feet from the basket.
And then there, Brew, the other piece of that is, I don't want the last shot there. I want to go fast. I want to go as fast as possible. So with 7.5 seconds left, that way, A, if you miss, maybe you get a tip-in putback. B, you can foul and maybe be down 3 and have a shot. So I just thought, while I do not think this says anything, Brew, about where Wemby's career will go, I do think that turnover will be something we will remember for years.
Really?
Well,
as something that maybe catapulted him
maybe
or
catapult
hurt him.
or hurt him, but whatever it is, it is not unreasonable to say that if they end up losing this series, was that turnover the turning point of the series? From the Spurs being able to salvage a split, go back to New York, and see if they can win the championship, to in the moment they got the ball, they're big favorites. Mm-hmm. They can either score there or win in overtime.
They play it.
Yes, and so
if they make this a series, then you could say that.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, they were obviously lost game 1, so you can't say that. I wouldn't say at this point that's the turning point, but depending on how these next few games go. The shot, I'll go to the shot at the end of the game. I agree with a lot of what you said. They should have moved faster, right? Like, they had 7.5 seconds left when they inbound the ball. Well, Wemby was waiting. So, see, he should have been over there for the pick. So, to your point, if you miss it, you have a chance at the offensive rebound. Or if the Knicks get it, you play them.
By the way, they did get the offensive rebound.
You foul them, right? But it was obviously time ran out. If Knicks get it, you foul them. Maybe you get another chance after that. But look, the shot I'm fine with. Now,
that shot.
Would I love something closer to the basket? Sure. But he got a good, clean look, and he just missed it. And that's, that is what it is. But the shot was fine. If you go back to the turnover, he and Castle it's on Wemby. I agree Mitch Johnson has a little something, maybe a little on Castle, but it's mainly on Wemby. It's his turnover. But when Wemby gets the rebound, he and Castle made eye contact. Mm-hmm. But I think once Castle sees him put it down,
then he's like, I got to run.
Then he's like, right, let me get down court. And then it was just miscommunication. It's a bad play, period. But here's the other thing. Wemby's a good ball handler. Like, he can bring the ball. No, I think he is. I mean, you can fight it. No, he's not fine. You don't see a 7'5" dude do it. Now, he makes some mistakes.
But he's not a good ball.
De'Aaron Fox whose pocket did he pick in game 1? Like,
he's good for 7'5", bro.
But he's a good enough ball handler where you don't have to just kick it to the outlet man.
Yeah,
he could have. I mean, Castle obviously thought he's dribbling it up.
Yes.
Because occasionally he does do that. Now, usually they do kick it to the point guard and he brings it up. But Wemby's done it enough times where he should have been comfortable just dribbling it up.
And the foul is just as bad.
I think the foul was a panic foul.
Yeah.
I don't think Wemby has melted down. I think a meltdown is you're not shooting, you're running from the ball.
Yeah.
He took like 3 shots in the last minute. He wasn't running from the ball. But I did think once he made the turnover, I think he panicked.
And then you saw it on his face.
I don't know what to do.
You saw on his face right after it was like the pain of we lost when again it's a tie game. Did you want to say something on this?
No, because then I'm going to be like, I was right a long time ago.
No, go. I want to hear it.
Wemby doesn't want the ball in the clutch time.
He
Bringing it up.
took 3 shots in the last
bringing it up,
Bringing
and
it
I
up the
said it,
court.
and
he shouldn't want it.
We did it last month when Harper gave him the ball, and he hot potatoed it right back to Harper, and we had a big argument about it.
But he shouldn't be bringing it up.
No. Yeah, and I don't think there's enough evidence. I mean, I just, their game, if you watch the game, 95% of the time when he gets a rebound, he kicks it to the guard. Like, that's what they do.
Yeah, so Castle
I don't think
know.
it's
again, this is a lot.
If you don't want it, you don't take that 20
I'm not talking about the shot. I'm talking about
he doesn't want to bring
I don't want to
be
the playmaker the entire time.
I also think, Brew, I think Wemby is an A triple plus ball handler graded on a height curve.
Oh, yeah.
I think Wildes' point is he is a league average ball handler if height is not incorporated at all.
Yeah,
you might say below. Right, like that. If he's competing in a ball handling competition where you get no extra credit for how big you are against all the guards in the league, like if it was just pure ball handling competition, where does he rank on the Spurs?
Yeah, I mean, the point guards are generally going to be the best.
Right, and so I think that's KW's point.
I think he handles it as well as Kevin Durant.
Oh, yes, I agree with that.
How about a guy who's 6'5"?
No, but I get it. You're tall.
It's just harder.
Ideally, your dribble is low.
Yeah.
So his is going to be high no matter what.
I think he is as good of a ball handler as any 6'11" guy or taller has ever been, but that still might make you worse than the average 6'4".
But he's good
NBA
enough
player.
where in that situation, had he brought it, he would have been able, unless the Knicks just totally
But they also
collapsed
didn't
on him,
have to
then
rush.
he could have kicked it to somebody
They
else.
just also didn't have to rush.
It's
They had 12 seconds in a tie
the
game.
Fruit
of the inexperienced tree. Brew, you called
the
this.
final stage.
He was right the whole time.
I got 2.5 totals.
On the Knicks side, Karl Anthony Towns has flustered Wemby, grabbed rebounds, scored points, been a calming and inspirational presence. Here's Wemby and Brunson on Cat.
It's very different from the previous series. It's bringing us into difficult areas because they're good players. He's a good player.
He's been pretty phenomenal on both sides of the ball. And so the things he's been able to do throughout this entire playoffs, but obviously here now, has been great. But we need more.
Brew, is Cat your MVP so far?
Well, let me say this, because I hate the fact that nowadays, if a guy who's the star doesn't win the MVP of the finals, people want to act like he didn't win the finals. Kareem's got 2 finals MVPs in his 6 championships. Magic has 3 in his 5. So there was 2 he didn't win. Steph has 1 out of 4. And when Jason Tatum didn't win it, he got criticized by I'm like, win the championship.
Of the guys with
I don't
a bunch
care
of
who's
rings,
the finals
the
MVP.
only 2 that won all the finals MVPs are Bron and Jordan. They're the
That's
only
it.
ones, like guys with 3+ rings. Because Shaq has 4, but he didn't win it in Miami. Like you just Bird, Magic, they didn't always win it. Like that, it's just Bron and Jordan of the 3+ ring guys who have all the finals MVPs.
So
Duncan only.
this
has
does
3.
not. That said, this to me, this should not in any way be a negative on Brunson if he doesn't win it. But that said, if it ended today or before Game 3, it's Karl Anthony Towns. Like he's outplayed Wemby.
Yes.
All right. And his numbers are great. Here's the comparison between him and Brunson. Now, Brunson's got him in points, but obviously the rebounds you expect. The assists are the same. And you look at the field goal percentage, like Brunson has not, other than the fourth quarter Game 1, had a great series. He was pretty good in this fourth quarter too. But look at him from 3. That has brought Wemby out, where Wemby is out guarding on the perimeter, and that keeps him from the rim so the Knicks can get there. So, yeah, I think it's Cat right now.
And I think he would have continued dominating this game, and it never would have gotten close if not for what I thought was a horrible offensive foul call. Took away an and one, sent him to the bench in the third quarter, and he never got back in the
I
rim.
thought those last two fouls on him were shaky.
Listen, I'm really glad the Knicks won, so we don't have to talk about the officiating. Because they won, I feel comfortable saying that was a very poorly officiated game, and it wasn't poorly officiated in both directions. The Knicks.
Well, it was physical.
It was physical in both directions.
Incredibly
but
physical.
the Knicks did not shoot a second-half free throw until OG shot 3, and they had to challenge to get that.
Yeah.
And credit to Mike Brown for holding that challenge.
That was
There are a
great
lot of
challenge.
other, and that was maybe the most important thing. I just want to show 2 quick highlights from each guy, and then we'll move on. I think it's probably Towns. I also, if you say, hey, why is Brunson the MVP? And it's like, well, let me just show you 2 shots from the series. And you end up showing us the dagger in game 1 and then the dagger in game 2, which I think we can show. I would be totally fine with that being the reason. It's like, oh, okay, game 1, the shot to put the game away from right there. And then great defense, tough coverage, Brunson put it away. And then game 2, when he did not have it going at all, and the Knicks are trailing, the shot to save the game was Jalen Brunson.
Yep.
With that said, Dust, can we just show the 2 Cat passes?
Oh my God! This
Cat,
is an all-time great pass.
I mean, that.
If Joker did that, we would be
that
putting up
pass.
statues. Of
he's quadruple team.
He's shooting it.
And he's shooting it and then decides. And then later in the game, his skip pass, which this is a hard pass.
Yes.
Leads to one of the moment where it looked like the Knicks were going to blow him out when OG dunks on Wemby. And Cat has stayed out of foul trouble, has done a great job on defense. But if someone's like, hey, Brunson has been captain clutch when Cat hasn't scored in the fourth quarter.
Well, that's the thing.
Fine.
Brunson's been great in one of the 2 fourth quarters and good in the other, and Cat hasn't scored in the fourth quarter.
One note from Ben Rohrbach at Yahoo. Cat's averaging 6.2 assists during the 13-game win streak. Has never done that before in any 13-game stretch.
No, credit to Mike Brown on that too, and Cat.
Final segment. This is the new segment that we promised. Since we're in New York and less than 5 hours away from Game 3, we're introducing a new segment to try to capture the spirit of the city that we're calling 5 Knicks fans barely holding it together. So we're going to welcome in 5 Knicks fans.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go, Knicks!
Barely.
Let's go, baby!
Barely holding it together. 5 Knicks fans barely holding it together. Thank you for joining us. Get-in price around $5,000. A lot of Knicks fans are saying the experience would be priceless. What would you guys give for a championship?
Let's go! That's right! I give my left arm!
That was 5 Knicks fans barely holding it together.
High five!
I don't know if they're holding it together anymore.
After the break, we might need some medical attention for the gentleman with the one arm. Craig Jennings is going to be mad when he sees.
Oh, you guys did great.
I was looking at your arm and I saw his.
Nearly home. Isn't home where we all want to be? Reba here for Realtor.com, the pros' #1 most trusted app. Finding a home is like dating. You're not just looking for a place to live, you're searching for the one. That's where Realtor.com comes in. Like any good matchmaker, they know exactly where to look. With over 500,000 new real listings straight from the pros every month, you could find your perfect match today. Ranch style with a pool, barn dominium with an in-law suite, Realtor.com's got them. Modern craftsman with a big yard and a treehouse out back, Realtor.com will have you saying, yep, that's the one. No more swiping. It's time to start finding. Download the Realtor.com app today, 'cause you're nearly home. Make it real with Realtor.com.
Pro's #1 most trusted app based on August 2024 proprietary survey. Over 500,000 new listings every month based on average new for sale and rental listings. February 2024 through January 2025.
The outswinger from Pulisic. Tar heads it away. Robin! Oh my word! What a strike from Anthony Robinson!
Starting Thursday, first things first, we'll be moving to 10 a.m. To talk about the World Cup. We're getting into. I'm getting World Cup fever after I watch this Germany friendly. Also, welcome Coach Mangini.
See you, Coach. Yeah.
Strike of the friendlies so far.
It's one of the best goals. If you remove the stakes of the game, just as far as quality of goal, it's one of the best goals by any member of the U.S. men's national team wearing a Team USA jersey in my lifetime. Hands down. Yeah. As far as just quality, who you're playing against, and what?
Josh, you hear that?
What?
Starting to sprinkle it a little bit.
Sprinkle what?
As far as quality.
Oh, I was going to
say. Quality strike.
Class
from Robinson. Class from Robinson.
Yeah.
I like that. Quality.
Yeah, that's right.
I heard Chris Richards on the field getting his fitness back.
That's good.
That's good. It's great to see. Josh Allen's got a new coach. Will be playing in a new stadium and says he feels, quote, extremely rejuvenated in a wonderful article from Tyler Dunn on golong.com.
golongtd.com.
Excuse me. golongtd.com. It's paywall, but it's worth it.
Yes.
Josh has the most playoff wins ever for a quarterback with no Super Bowl. Looking to change that. Here's the quote. This city winning a Super Bowl is the last greatest sports story in all of the world. I really do believe that. Well, he's already saying, Spurs are cooked.
He definitely
I want to be the guy that does it. Your reaction to reading this article?
Well, it's a little bit self-aggrandizing, isn't it? When you look at the perspective, I mean, the Minnesota Vikings, they've lost 4 Super Bowls. They were incorporated, I think, a year after the Bills, so they have that.
I don't feel like anyone really rocks with the Vikings like that.
Okay, well, the Detroit Lions have been around since
I'm with Coach.
1930. They've never played in the Super Bowl. The Cleveland Browns, 1946, never played in the Super Bowl. Arizona Cardinals, 1920, they lost the Super Bowl.
The Cardinals, Coach? You think people are rocking with the Cardinals?
And then if you look at the Browns and the Guardians combined are just as bad as the Bills and the Sabres combined. So, take your pick of stories.
The Jets. How about the Jets?
Well, the Jets have won a Super Bowl, so.
But in '69, I mean, I think that would be ahead of the Bills.
Let's do a power ranking of sad franchises. No one's on the cusp of winning a Super Bowl.
What about the Cowboys' last 30 years? That wouldn't be a bigger story if Dak led them to the Super Bowl?
No.
Sacramento Kings, 75 years.
Guys.
I told you this would happen.
What are we doing?
I tried to get you to change the topic.
Great legendary ABA champion, haven't been able to win it in
I'm just saying, when you say
the Clippers.
My town is the most important town.
I'm with Coach.
They lost 4 Super Bowls in a row. They have a special place in everyone's hearts.
Well,
you really feel like this is the one? You really agree with this quote?
This is what I think. I think the combination of being tied with the Vikings for most Super Bowl appearances without winning. But people right now are like, the Vikings 4 Super Bowls. What were those? We all know the Bills. It was 4 in a row. It was Jim Kelly where they got annihilated by the Cowboys.
Young fans that don't really
those young fans, Brew, I promise you, if they don't remember the Bills, they also don't remember the Vikings Super Bowl losses. But then you add to it that unlike those other teams that you've been mentioning, they of this era have had what a lot of people consider the most heartbreaking non-Super Bowl loss, the 13 seconds game. They have had way more regular season and postseason success than any of those other teams, including the Detroit Lions, without getting there. I think they have the most playoff wins and regular season wins over a 6 or 7 year stretch in NFL history without reaching a Super Bowl. That's where it is certainly arguable that what he's saying is that of all the teams that could win a championship in their sport, the one that would be the best story, again, it's a non-objective measure, but the best story would be the Buffalo Bills. Like, I think that part I think is fair.
I think the one thing that might make it the Bills is that Josh Allen is awesome.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what it is.
Because they've been right there.
Because if Josh Allen was in Minnesota, you could say that about Minnesota or Cleveland, Detroit, or any number of teams. So I think his greatness and his MVP does make it maybe the one story, but I'm with Coach overall.
Don't you think the Minnesota Vikings, who had the quarterback that now won the Super Bowl a year later, you don't think that those people are going, this is really heartbreaking? And look, Josh, I think the first step is probably getting to the Super Bowl. Like, that might be a nice step, and it's gotten a lot harder because now the New England Patriots are a totally different franchise than the first part of your career. So that's problematic. You had the opportunity last year with no Lamar, no Joe Burrow, no Patrick Mahomes, so you had that. And then even if you get there, you've got all the problems that the NFC creates as arguably the stronger conference. So let's take the first step of winning or getting to the Super Bowl. And look, week one.
Can I switch gears to just because it's a great article and it's like 8 pages when you print it out double-sided, so you get your money's worth. I just want to, Nick, I'll get your reaction to this quote because this has been an ongoing theme. Tom Brady talked to Josh Allen about it a long time ago. I think we brought it up with Josh Allen. I'm going to play football how I know how to play it until I can't, Allen says. And when I can't play it the way I want to play it, it's probably when I'm done, but hopefully that's still quite some time. The idea of just playing aggressive.
And Tyler Dunn in the article, in the preamble to that, in his own opinion, says it would be foolish and a mistake for the Bills or Joe Brady or anyone to try to wrangle, Josh Allen, like to try to change his style of play. And I mean
reel him in?
Yes, reel him in.
They did that.
No, well, when Brady took over the offense. So here's the thing, Brew. Here's where I kind of, because you've said that a lot, and where I disagree with you in the margins. What they changed their run-pass ratio, but I don't think Josh changed his style on the pass play.
He still
You understand what I mean?
Well, they just don't throw it nearly as much.
They don't throw it nearly as much, but I didn't think Josh became like a far more cautious player. They just changed how often they called runs versus passes, and I think what they're talking about is not the frequency of runs versus passes. They're talking about stylistically.
I'm going to make it happen. I'm Mr. Make it happen.
And this is a weird thing to say coming off a 4-turnover playoff game that included one of the worst turnovers I've ever seen a star player make in a playoff game. This play right here. Again, we don't have the score bug on here, but there it is now. That 8 seconds left in the half is why that was so bad. It would be a bad fumble under any circumstances, but because it was all downside and no upside is what made it even worse. And then you realize they got 3 points out of it. They lost the game in overtime. It seems like an odd game to be on the heels of to make this point, Coach. I think Josh Allen's got to be Josh Allen. I don't think he has. Yeah, I don't think he is this uber precise Joe Burrow-esque passer. I look at him very similarly, if you remove some of the playoff bugaboo stuff, that I do Lamar, which is if you try to limit or change the thing that can cause some of their downside, it takes away some of their superpower. Some of Josh's superpower is I'm going to do wild stuff. And some of his best plays ever have come on the heels of that. And I just think the Bills have to hope they have a hot hand at the craps table. Yeah. And because I don't think they're going to be able, I don't think they have the roster, and I don't think he's pinpoint enough to just nickel and dime you up and down the field.
I do agree that his superpower is something that you want to harness. But the problem is if you don't develop that second pitch, eventually, he just turned 30, eventually those hits that you take and those moments where you say, hey, and some of it's a little bit of bravado, and some of it is what propels him, but it adds up. And eventually, it's going to hit that critical mass where he's going to stop being able to rely on that, and it's going to be over, and it's going to be over quickly, where the greatest players are able to maximize that superpower in the biggest moments, but also continually develop year after year so that they can function at a high level in the other areas. They don't always have to default to running around to make plays. They get better at the mundane plays. They just continue to improve.
Yeah, I'm with Coach, and the name that comes to mind is Cam Newton. Once Cam lost his supernatural running ability, he wasn't the same. He wasn't a star anymore, and he really wasn't even a good quarterback. Right. So while they want to let Josh be Josh, they have to continue to work on his passing ability. Like, I think Lamar, and we'll find out this year. I mean, if you think last year he was bad, we'll find out this year. I think he's become a good enough passer where when he doesn't have his running ability, he'll still be able to be a top-flight quarterback.
Drank a piece of the confetti from the 5 Knicks fans.
This was a Jared Goff bit that you had. Superman versus
superheroes and civilians.
Superheroes
and civilians. It wasn't a bit, it was cogent analysis.
Sorry. This was cogent analysis inspired by Jared Goff, superhero and civilians, and the idea that Jared Goff doesn't quite have the superhero ability. That being said, that cogent analysis was developed pre-Sam Darnold.
No.
Hold on, let me finish.
Sorry, go ahead. My bad.
The last few Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, I think you would fall into the civilian.
Yes.
Hurts is very disciplined. Sam Darnold is the definition of a civilian. Mahomes will do some superhero stuff. Yeah. Stafford, the arm angle stuff, sure.
No, I think Stafford and Mahomes are definitively in the superhero category for me. And if Josh Allen were on, and you could argue maybe he was early in his career, I don't think so. A team who had a defense as stacked as I almost said the Sonics, as the Seahawks, and a wide receiver as dominant as JSN, then I might want him to lower the variance and play more of a civilian style, and play. I think that's why the Lions have been legitimate contenders with Goff, despite the fact I don't think he has the superhero upside because of the team around him. I don't look at the Bills roster, Coach, on either side of the ball as I don't think it's a bad roster, but I don't look at it as dominant. The only reason to me the Bills might have table stakes to get into the Super Bowl is if Josh Allen plays great. And so that's the distinction I would draw.
But Clark Kent doesn't jump into the phone booth to save a cat in a tree. He jumps in the phone booth to stop a meteor. Like, you got to have some perspective of when is it important to harness those moments. And you should do it red zone, third down, 2-minute. The critical moments is when you want to do that so that you can extend the amount of time you're with your team and extend the amount of time you give the franchise a chance to win the Super Bowl. Because that's what he does. He gives them a chance, but if he's hurt, that chance is gone.
It's the offseason, but somebody's in playoff form right now.
That was a bar.
Wow.
That was a bar.
Thanks,
wow.
Also, I saw you there. What? You flirted with being like Mahomes last few years. He's
definitely.
I heard you flirted
thought
with
you were
it.
gonna call him a civilian.
You pulled it back. You pulled it back correctly. You pulled it back.
He barely pulled it back. I'm not sure he did. You jumped in.
Dell PCs with Intel Inside are built for the moments that matter. For the moments you plan and the ones you don't. Built for the busy days that turn into all-night study sessions. The moment you're working from a cafe and realize every outlet's taken. The times you're deep in your flow and the absolute last thing you need is an auto update throwing off your momentum. That's why Dell builds tech that adapts to the way you actually work. With long-lasting batteries so you're not scrambling for the closest outlet. And built-in intelligence that makes updates around your schedule, not in the middle of it. They don't build tech for tech's sake, they build it for you. Find technology built for the way you work at Dell.com/Dell PCs. Built for you.
Brew, no team has ever come back in the finals after losing the first two at home. But Stephon Castle still oozing confidence. Take a listen.
We feel like we gave them that game, on self-inflicted mistakes, not just talking about, the last play of the game or last couple of plays of the game. I feel like throughout the game we gave them life in areas where, we could have took a lead and extended it. So, we've always had the next play, next game mentality, and we weren't able to close that one out. But like I said earlier, it's 1st to 4. So I think we're confident we can go get the next one first.
Okay, maybe not oozing confidence, but certainly confident.
Yeah,
just not be oozing.
Yeah, I think they're in denial. Not a single person on the Spurs is playing great, and the Knicks are causing that.
Yeah, that's true.
And the Spurs have been either underestimating, or this is something you would say and then point to Gianna and be like, is this a good one? Or sneak dissing the Knicks. Was that a good one, Gianna? No. All year. This has been a little forgotten moment, but I remember it stuck in my craw back in December because I didn't need to hear about who's sophisticated and who's not from the 22-year-old French kid. Here was Victor Wembanyama talking about the Knicks before they played for the NBA Cup. Take a listen.
They don't play a brand of basketball as sophisticated as the Miami Heat or the Thunder, but like the physicality is top in the league, so it's a very tough team to play against.
I'm giving them second
I think
language.
that was true at that point.
Second language.
I'm giving him a second.
Second language.
I grade all of his quotes on a bit of a second language.
He
curve.
does not have any problem. He is a brilliant young kid.
I'm not saying if he's saying sophisticated. I'm saying you're hung up on the word.
No, I think he means.
Feels like that feels like a sneak.
Well, they
diss
were
when
very
it
much
a different word.
Brunson-centric at that point, and now they're not.
But so
I think
that might have been correct then.
Yeah,
but my point is, I don't think they have caught up to where the Knicks are, and I just don't. I think the Spurs, and you guys know how I feel. The Spurs were overconfident going into this series. I thought Wemby was overconfident coming off game one, and not overconfident like it's an indictment on who they are. I just mean literally more confident than they should have been because I think the Knicks are playing better and right now a better team. And I think that Castle, none of them want to admit we're getting beat because the other team is better than
What would you have them say? That's exactly what I want to hear from Stephon Castle or any Spur. I would much rather that, and where you really believe and you still have hope, than somebody to be up there. And, you would try to hide it, but if they're like, yeah, they're just making us do things. We can't get this. We can't get that. Like, you can't win if you're defeated mentally. And the games have been close enough. Look, I played small college basketball, so I'm not trying to. I wasn't on these guys' level by a long shot.
Yeah, you're close.
But when you play, if games are close, there's no doubt you feel like we're looking at it like, man, 2-0, they're done. I mean, and I'm like, they're mostly done. They are not looking at it that way. They're like, we can beat this team. We can beat them the next 2 games. We can win the next one. Like, I think that's how it's one thing if you're getting blasted and you have no reason to believe. They've won 6
in a row.
Fine, it don't matter. I think OKC thought they could beat the Spurs.
But
they won 62 games. They just beat the defending champs. And they have been close. They've led both games in the last 2 minutes.
Yep, that's part true.
So they have reason to believe that they can win. Now, they chances are they're not. But that's how I want them to think. Isaiah Thomas and I, the legend, were talking before the playoffs began. And I was like, I like the Spurs, but, man, they so young. He was like, that's good. Because they don't know what they don't know. They don't know. Like, they have no idea what they're in for, which means they think they can do the impossible. And so far, they've done more than people thought they could. So that's what I want to say.
I agree, KW, that they should not sound defeated. They should not be like, they're just clearly better than us. But I do think there's a distinction between saying we feel like we gave them that game, and Castle, after the first game, is saying out loud. Feeling was one thing. Saying out loud, we feel like we're clearly the better team, or the better team. I don't know if he said clearly. And if he had said, listen, through the first 2 games, they were better than us. We believe that's going to change. Or through the first 2 games, they imposed their will more than we imposed ours. We believe that's going to change. This feels like it is denying credit to what the Knicks have done. And I think
if I remember correctly, we said in the first block, the Spurs gave that game away.
I thought Wemby's, What is odd to me, and maybe
we don't know if they would have scored.
No, of course, but what's odd to me is the Knicks have seemed more complimentary of the Spurs post-game than the Spurs have of the Knicks. And that, to me,
it's veteran leadership. The Knicks walk off the court like they lost sometimes. Like Brunson is super locked in, McHale super locked in.
Look, they went through their pain last year. Lost a series to a team they thought they should have beat.
That's right. When you're at work, you never know when you're going to get interrupted. Like when an office fire drill happens right in the middle of your presentation, or construction is going on just outside your window. But with the Dell Pro laptop powered by Intel Core Ultra with vPro, no matter how many interruptions you have, your laptop won't be one of them. With battery that's optimized for the way you work and built-in intelligence that quiets distractions the moment you're trying to focus, your tech won't slow you down. Even when you're getting bounced from an office you forgot to reserve. The Dell Pro, built for those who stay in the flow. Find technology built for the way you work at Dell.com/Dell-Pro. Built for you.
Live from New York, it's a show that's rooting for Portugal all of a sudden in the World Cup.
Speaking of, there's Brew. Major first things first set update for the World Cup.
Oh, I'm trying to...
What? You said you were going to be supportive. We literally had a meeting about this.
Time out.
Because we know Brew's going to make fun of it.
Edit this out. Yes. Tell us about it.
Edit it out.
We have 11 custom-made World Cup Legos.
Let's go!
For the set.
11 Legos.
Including a Cristiano Ronaldo one that's about yay tall.
You've been making them.
Me and my daughter spent the whole weekend building Legos for the World Cup.
Constructing them. Brew, don't say it.
Playing with
no,
them?
not
No,
playing
not
with
playing.
them. He's basically an architect.
Call me crazy. I think Legos are toys.
Well, that's because...
Thank you.
That's because back in your day, all you had were Legos or Lincoln Logs. It was it. It was
basically an engineer.
I used to love Legos when I was 9.
You're not going to believe what I decorate the set with. You're not going to believe it.
We really had a meeting with the producers.
They're going to be right there. We got.
All right, welcome back to the second hour, First Things First. Today, can Wemby bring the Spurs back? He played well, and then he played horribly. We'll find out. Meanwhile, World Cup preview with the voice of the World Cup on Fox, John Strong, coming up in about 25 minutes. But right now, we're headed back to San Antonio. Spurs are down 0-2. Stat from Josh that I haven't read yet. Stat from Josh. Wemby is the first player to have back-to-back finals games with a turnover in the final minute of the fourth quarter when the score was within 5 points. That's about his
first player ever.
First player ever.
Wow.
That's Josh's way of saying.
How do you find that stat?
That's Josh.
Not great.
Not great. That's basically a sneak diss from Josh. Just factual though. Here's Wemby on the final shot that he missed.
Yeah, of course I like the shot, but I feel like in this moment you need to shoot to score. And in moments like this, it's like results matter more than process. If you know what I mean, we just need to score. I need to score. That's the whole point.
Perfect answer.
That is a great answer.
I
moments
love
like
that.
this, results matter
we got
more
a good
than
shot,
any-
you know, a good make or miss league.
You know how they let players be in the press conferences? I wish they let coaches. Kenny Atkinson, second thought, following up.
Analytics.
Go ahead.
All right, we're saying the whole game, bro, is game 2 loss on Wemby.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I hesitate to put, he's the star without his 29 and 12, was it? Or 7.
Yes.
Without his 29 points, obviously they're not in that position. I was saying all week, I said, Wemby giveth and Wemby taketh away. Because he was huge in that comeback.
Yep.
And he had 22 points in the second half. So he obviously played pretty well then.
7 rebounds in the second half, 9 in the game.
9, okay, 7 in the second. Yeah. And so, but look, literally he did with the turnover and then the foul, and Brunson hits the game-winning free throw, and that's it. He misses the potential game winner. So literally he did. But I'm looking at beyond the last minute and a half. I just thought he played so poorly in the first half, and that's when Cat clearly outplayed him. that I was actually thinking he played better in game 1 when he wasn't that good than he was in the first half of game 2.
Correct.
And he only took 4 shots. And I just think, and you can know this better than me, but for your teammates, when they see your best player not playing well, I feel like that can have an effect on them. And so I just felt like the whole game, the first half playing poorly, and then obviously down the stretch, that I would put this one on Wemby.
Yeah, I'll definitely put it on him too, just because of the first half, honestly. In that moment of that turnover, I blame Mitch Johnson. Because I'm like, call a timeout. Pop would have called a timeout. A seasoned veteran coach would have called a timeout there. The reason why you call a timeout there, because those guys are young. They're babies. Yeah. He's in his 3rd year. You're going to throw it to Castles in his 2nd year. What is he going to call? What is he going to do in that moment, right? Yeah. You have no idea. Call a timeout, and you guarantee and make sure you get the last shot of the game, and if we miss, we're going to overtime.
Can I ask you a question now, just on that? Wemby is, and Castle won a championship in college. Wemby played in the gold medal game in the Olympics. Sometimes I see plays like this that would be bad plays in junior high basketball or youth basketball, where it's obvious. A, point guard, don't run up the sideline. B, don't throw on the run to a guy running away. How does inexperience show up in the pressure of the finals, even though these guys are still seasoned basketball players in the grand scheme of things?
I think it's time and score. It's just the moment, right? And it's something that you obviously can't prepare yourself for in that moment, right? I just really think that, Wemby, he just had a brain lapse. You know what I'm saying? Because he threw it to a player whose back was to him. Right. At the end of the day, he never was really in position ever to receive that ball. So that's why, once again, I go back to Mitch. Just call the timeout, bro. Call the timeout and make sure you get a good shot. And if you miss, you go to overtime.
And is Mitch also a victim of inexperience?
For sure. That's the other thing, too, right? He's a young coach. His first time in that situation, it was just like kind of the perfect storm.
So I do, because KW, I get what you're saying, which is these guys wouldn't make this mistake at UCLA in the summer in open run.
No.
What it reminded me of was how the Rockets found a way to lose that 6-point lead against the Lakers, where all the young guys, there was the dumb foul and then LeBron back-tapping Reed Sheppard. Reed Sheppard was one of the best high school players in the nation, played at Kentucky, but in that moment, he hadn't been in that moment, and these guys haven't been in this moment. To answer the overall question, I think Brew was totally fair and correct. There have been 96 minutes played in these finals. Victor Wembanyama has looked like the best player on the court, let alone the best player on the planet, for 22 of them. The first 22 minutes of the second half of Game 2. Game 1, he was, in my opinion, the 3rd best player in the game at best, and Game 2 in the first half was not one of the 7 best players on the court. And in the second half was unbelievable until the critical moments of the game where it wasn't just that turnover. And I think that one of the reasons the Knicks have been able to come back or prevent the Spurs from extending. There have been multiple times early in these games where it looked like Spurs are going to get a big lead. The Knicks have gotten so many critical offensive rebounds. Right. Wemby you cannot be giving up. This is the 6th straight game the Spurs have given up 10-plus offensive rebounds. 6 games in a row. And again, this is my own, hobby horse pet theory. Ever since Wemby started to wear down, it has shown up more than anything in the rebounding numbers. And again, 9 rebounds is not a bad total.
They're doing a great job.
But they're doing it. They are every time. Wemby is just getting chucked or bumped or hit every single time down the court.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And it is. And at one point, he got mad at Alvarado and threw him to the side.
Yep.
And so I just thought, if we run the rip of the 4 shots Wemby took in the final 2 minutes, one of them worked, and it was the one where this tallest guy on the court is diving to the basket. This one, down 3, minute and a half left. They're very lucky the game wasn't over here. Brunson, right after that one, had missed a layup. That one works great.
Love it.
Wemby driving to the basket.
Yeah.
This one, again, I think you can get a better shot than Mitch Robinson contested jumper. I don't hate this one given when he got the ball. that he got it with 2.5 seconds left and he had a relatively open jumper.
Yeah.
But he could have gotten the ball earlier and done something, or they could have drawn something up where he's driving to the basket. He is considered by many the best player in the world. He has not been the best player on the court in any game in this series. There was a stretch where it looked like he was going to save it, but that stretch came off of what I think you could argue was the worst half he's played all season. That first half where I thought Chuck was great at halftime, talking about how it's been a long time since Wemby got his ass kicked like this, and then Chuck was talking about there's some guy in high school who was like, yeah, I did it. And I thought it was really informative, those moments. And Wemby did respond. And then at the end, I don't know if that's like the moment. I don't know if that's overall fatigue. I don't know what it is, but he wasn't at his best at the very end of the game.
Al, did it hit your radar, Wemby falling after he missed the jump shot, the final one?
No, he wasn't extremely confident in that shot for whatever reason. That's why he fell, in my opinion.
What do you mean?
Just like, when you like confident in a shot, it's usually a straight up and down motion. You land on your feet. When you fall back, it's just you begging. You're begging for the ball to go in.
Oh, you didn't think it was like trying to
They're
draw a
thinking
foul?
more
You thought
SGA.
Nah, he wasn't trying to draw a foul on that. It was just like holding the ball as long as he could and praying that it went in.
Oh, that's interesting.
They could have, because they had gotten a play where Wemby got an alley-oop from Fox at the rim, like in the fourth quarter. They could have easily run something like that. And even if you can't get, like if Wemby's not open because the Knicks go with it, Fox is clutch and Fox was playing well, so you could have actually done something like that.
There's an old school play that when I came up that we ran, it was called a rub play. So you would call it rub the person's name. We would call it rub Wemby. And what you would have is you would have a point guard or like taking the ball out right there. You would have a guy like Reggie Miller or somebody rubbing the big man off, and then you just throw it to him. And if the big stays on the high side, Wemby's so big, it's now an alley-oop for him just right at the basket. They need to figure out ways to get him closer to the basket. And even for him right now, he's still so raw offensively, he has to figure out a go-to shot.
Correct.
He has to get a go-to shot. And that's the next level for him. So I think that this summer, if they win or lose, which is like I think they're going to lose, these are the things that he's going to have to work on to be able to keep that title of the best player in the world. Because he needs to have a spot.
Skyhook. I was like, it's just that everybody's talking about Kareem's
there
footwork.
for all of them.
What about the 7'5" guy doing a skyhook?
Right.
Al, your wife just did
Al,
it in the background. It's not that hard. We all know what it looks like. One guy did it. He had the points record for 40 years.
Right.
I've been told players don't think it's cool.
Oh my God! I gotta stop with the coolness.
Guess who doesn't care about cool?
Am I
Wemby,
I think you gotta be right.
No,
I'm serious.
You know what?
They do the little jump look, but
Wemby was sitting in Washington Square Park sketching a statue 6 hours ago down 0-2. He doesn't care about being cool. He's out.
When is art's not cool now?
I'm saying.
That's
he's
pretty
a
cool.
different
Hanging
type
out
of
there.
cat.
cool, I thought.
He's a different type
a
of
hip hop
cat.
cipher
I'm
down there or something. Shoot, you never know. Man, you know what I'm talking about.
He was sketching.
But they over there rapping.
I don't know.
Shoot.
Let me get in. You guys know French? Knicks have won 13 straight playoff games, second longest streak since the 2017 Warriors, who no one doubts is an all-time great team. In the process, they've outscored their opponents by 273 points, most ever in the playoffs, second most ever all-time in a 13-game stretch. Is anyone ready to call the Knicks a historically great team?
If they complete the sweep, I think we all have to say this is one of the greatest playoff runs we've ever seen.
There you go.
I think that is undeniable. I don't even think that's a matter of opinion.
Yep.
And we will also have to find a way to reconcile with ourselves, if they're not a historically great team, why they did something only historically great teams have done.
Love it.
And we can just rip through a few of these full screens quickly and then I'll pass the ball. 2 or fewer losses on way to the title. I don't think the 89 Pistons were an all-time great team, but they did go to 3 straight championships. They lost 1 in Game 7, so they're damn close. The 99 Spurs, weird year, and then Shaq and Kobe took over. But those are some of the best teams ever, the Knicks are 14-2 this postseason. Longest.
Most of those teams are
considered all-time great teams. 99 Spurs, maybe not, but it's the beginning.
But
maybe.
you had Duncan and Robinson.
Best point differential in a playoffs. Just roll through them, Dust. These are the four there. Those are considered four of the greatest teams of all time. And by the way, the previous graphic only included since we've gone to 3 rounds of 3 rounds before the finals. So some of the historic teams aren't on there. And the longest winning streaks in playoff history, again, it's the greatest teams we've ever seen. And what none of them have done is sweep the final 3 rounds to a championship. No team in league history has ever swept semifinals, conference finals. So again, there's a what if of if they not only win, but if they sweep, I think we're going to have to figure out why they're not one of those teams if they accomplish that.
I just think when you say like all-time team, I just think you got to include the regular season. So I think that is the place where that's the disconnect, right? But when you talk about playoff run, for sure, hands down. I mean, even if they lost one in this, I still feel like that this run that they went on is obviously incredible, right? So even for this one, they win this one next season. If they can go into next season and also put together a season where they only lose 13, 14 games and get to the playoffs and have success again, then I think we can start putting them in that conversation of all-time great team. But right now, I think it should be specific to the playoffs.
I agree with that totally. I mean, you can't deny the run. Like, it has to be viewed as one of the greatest runs. I mean, there's no question if they sweep or just even win this series. I'll hit it on the head. I've said before there's one-off team, one-year champion that's kind of considered an all-time great. That's the 83 76ers with Moses Malone, Dr. J. They won 65 games in the regular season. There is another team. It was when Wilt and Hal Greer won it in 67 with the 76ers. They won 68 games, though. Like, if the Knicks had won, if they had gone 65 and 17, I think we would be looking at them as, and in this run, like, oh, yeah, they could maybe be an all-time great team. But so I think there's that. And I also think that while I think Cat will be a Hall of Famer along with Brunson, they don't have, like, Brunson who may go on to be a legend. But we don't look at these guys like Steph. And I mean, Steph's the only unanimous MVP. Does that mean he was the greatest MVP ever? No. So to me, them doing this in the playoffs, it's great, but I'll have to see it again. Like Al said before, I would put them amongst the Bulls and the Warriors and stuff like that.
But the Pistons is the comp that I want to use, not the 04, the 89.
But Isaiah was a superstar legend.
But they didn't have a – and again, Rodman was a Hall of Famer.
Dumars.
But a lot of that's because of the winning, right? And the comp the clumsy comp that I talked last week was why can't Jalen Brunson be Isaiah Thomas? That Pistons team was not one of the greatest teams ever until they were. Until they just became it. You know what I mean? They
won 2 straight, almost 3.
They also, again, they made – the comps aren't 1-to-1, but they made a very controversial trade when they were already really good with Aguirre and Dantley. These guys did Randall and Towns. And
if the Knicks were to win it next year, win it this year and win it next year, I don't think there's any doubt we think.
But KW doesn't like that.
No, I don't like it for a few reasons. One, I don't view it as just the way I view it. I don't look at it as a marathon or an ultra marathon like you guys do. Like, I thought Mike Brown's quotes about Cat when they were experimenting and growing and the team was transforming and trying to peak in the playoffs. They weren't throwing away the regular season. It felt like a process to get to this peak basketball team where they're at. That's the team I'm judging right now. Versus, I'm not counting your rough drafts, so to speak. I'm counting the final novel that you're writing now. And I'm judging this.
They will, if they sweep, they will be an all-time great team?
I think it's the most fun conversation to have. And you can start, like you're saying, like, well, if Mike Brown's going into the Hall of Fame, if we think Brunson's going to go into the Hall of Fame and be the best player in franchise history, and Cat, you've said, is a Hall of Famer, all of a sudden you're like, anything else weird? Like, oh, and by the way, 3 of the guys were together and won a championship in college, so they were a unique group of guys in a true team. Not like to your why you don't like the 82-0 game, where it's like, it's just stat counting and superstars, they don't match up. Well, what if this team is more than the sum of its parts? Does that catapult you up, and you're not just saying this superstar is better than that superstar?
I do get that it'll feel more sticky even if they don't win the title next year, but if they rip off an amazing regular season next year. And
if they do that and don't win it, though, I don't think we'll look at them as all-time great team.
So here might be and I know we got to go, but the silver lining to it, KW. Mm-hmm. When we say all-time, who's the greatest team in NBA history, you're going to get like 7 different answers. Like there's
but they all going to be laden with superstars.
No, correct.
Every team.
But they could become something, I think, more special, which is the go-to example for years of the way people bring up the 07 New York Giants.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Of like a team that peaked at the end. You know, there are certain teams that we use as examples of, hey, that's why this team could do it. This, if they finish this off, every team that goes into the playoffs after a good but not great regular season is going to have a press conference where somebody references, and I bet for years in the future, like, no, we just hit our stride, and we're going to show you like that Knicks team did. You know what I mean? What we can be. Like, I think they will be remembered in a way that some of the all-time great teams aren't remembered by the casual.
Their memories will be crazy.
Wemby not worried about the Garden crowd. Should he be? That's next.
Nearly home. Isn't home where we all want to be? Reba here for Realtor.com, the pros' #1 most trusted app. If you're hearing me, I'm going to assume you're awake. And if you aren't, because while you're snoozing, someone else might be finding your dream home. That's where Realtor.com comes in. With over 500,000 new real listings straight from the pros every month, that's a lot of chances to find the place you've been dreaming of. Whether you're searching for a 2-story mid-century with a pool or a little extra space with a spa-inspired bathroom, Realtor.com can help you find it today. So quit hitting that snooze button. Realtor.com isn't sleeping on finding your dream home, and neither should you. Download the Realtor.com app today, 'cause you're nearly home. Make it real with Realtor.com.
Pros #1 most trusted app based on August 2024 proprietary survey. Over 500,000 new listings every month based on average new for sale and rental listings. February 2024 through January 2025.
Fresh training footage today of the U.S. men's national team, fresh off of a good performance against Germany.
Yeah.
Friendly. First things first is moving to 10 a.m. when the World Cup starts on Thursday. So 10 a.m. to noon, and then first things first, overtime with Danny Parkins will be at 5 o'clock still.
Yes.
Which I'm looking forward to. I'm going to stay and watch.
You're going to stay in the building?
Yes.
Really?
To support first things first overtime.
You know what? I'll do that every day you do it.
The other day.
Excellent.
Because I stick around and do my herd hits, and you have those coming
Kevin
up
Wildes.
as well.
I got the Kevin Wildes podcast now.
That's right.
Al, do you want to be on the Kevin Wildes podcast?
Why not?
Gianna, got to give up a little bit of your equity for.
No, you're giving him equity in the
Cut me
podcast
in, G.
network?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just.
Do an equity swap with Viola.
I don't know about all that.
Viola? That's his company.
Viola?
Yeah, his
Viola.
Viola, pardon me.
Is it Viola? I get my water.
Oh, okay, sorry. My apologies.
Man,
I'm trying to. He has a valuable company. You have a fake one. It would be a good
First of all, every company is fake until you get investors.
Okay.
10 o'clock.
Yeah.
New York going crazy. Tickets are selling for the cost of cars and houses. Wemby, not worried about the Garden crowd. Take a listen.
I think it could be, but isolating myself is something I've practiced over the years, and I think I'm good at it, so it's not a problem. This is similar to something media-wise, like the Olympics.
Okay. Wemby at MSG. I think he was talking about going out, but he did go out and was drawing in the park. Wemby at MSG. I think we went to this game in November of 2023. They lost by 21. He only had 14 points, made 4 shots. And then on Christmas, he had 42. That was a good game. But again, the Spurs lost. And then March this year, they lost by 25.
And I was at that game.
And he was at that game.
Yeah.
So 3 losses.
And Al's going to be at this game too.
And Al's at this game.
I will be in the building.
What are your expectations for Wemby in the Garden tonight?
So let me give you this little thing.
Love it.
I think about playing on the road, right? And great players playing on the road. They want that. They like playing in that environment because it gives them an opportunity to shut people up. When you think about Madison Square Garden, it's been the home of role players having some of the most epic nights ever.
Great take. Wow. Great take.
Ever. So I think that he's going to actually play well.
Love it.
When you play at home, I'm going to be honest with you. When you play at home, there's something to playing at home where, like, the expectation, it's more pressure playing at home than it is on the road. I can speak to when I played for the Knicks. I used to have butterflies every game before a home game, and I played here because I was always nervous. I didn't want to get booed because the Knicks fans will let you have it if you don't play well. Right. Now, in this circumstance,
what would the score have to be tonight for this crowd to boo the Knicks?
I don't think they'll boo.
60-0.
I don't think they'll boo tonight. I don't think they'll boo tonight. But there's a pressure to playing at home, and especially to playing in New York City. So I expect Wemby to actually come out and respond and actually play well here. I still think the Knicks will win for my reasons, but I think that those guys as a team will play a lot better. They're away from San Antonio. The family's gone. Now it's just them, and they got to come together, band of brothers, and put their best foot forward out there tonight.
Yeah, look, I think he'll be able to handle the atmosphere because European professional basketball, those crowds are crazy, like raucous. So I don't think that'll be an issue for him. He mentioned the Olympics, but I'm just thinking his European professional history.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't really know what to expect from Wemby. I mean, I did not expect him to play as he did in these first 2 games. So I think he'll make an imprint on the game. You know, he obviously had his stretches, particularly in the second game where he played very well. I'll lean toward him playing a great game. I think they're going to win tonight. Now, I've picked them to win the first 2. I'll probably pick them to win like every game.
You'll be right eventually.
right. Maybe. But I'm going to say he has a big game, and they can pull this thing out.
So how much of his slow first half do you think was him trying to make sure he had something left for the second half and overdid it? Because that's what I thought. I watched that and the passivity of it, and then seeing what a big punch he came out with in the second half of.
They were close enough.
Right. And again, when I say overdid it, he should have been a little more aggressive, done a little more in the first half. But I think he was, and that was on 1 day rest. This is 2 days rest. Was acutely aware that he has been wearing down, that he hasn't been as impactful late, and wanted to make sure, especially early in the game when it looked like, well, we're winning anyway. Everybody else. I don't think – so here's why I say –
So quickly to your point. They were down 56-52 at half.
Yep.
And if that was his strategy, then you're thinking, oh, this is great. Because now I've got my energy for the second half. We're only down 4. You would think. I'm not saying I think that was his strategy, but if you're right, then it kind of worked in terms of.
And it was they were down 56-52, and that was with the Knicks going on a 5-0 run right before the end of the half. Like they had a 52-51 lead with a minute left in that half, and then the Knicks scored 5 straight. So here's why I say that. I think he knows he has to come out tonight early and be awesome. And I don't think he has right now the ability to be awesome for 40 minutes. And I just keep banging that same drum, and I think that we have just a growing trove of evidence that he has not been the same player since the double overtime game. That double overtime game was the most minutes he's played in his career by a lot. It was, and that double overtime game being the first of, for the first time in his career, every other day for 2 weeks. and all of that, and then whatever there is, the emotional exhaustion of overcoming the 3-2 deficit, winning that game, playing in your first finals. He talked about that.
I do agree with you now on. I mean, I thought in the moment they overreacted, but I think emotionally, Al, it's taken them a while to get over the win over OKC.
And what he did talk about this, but what he didn't say and wouldn't say, and I don't think will ever say, but I just believe to be true, is this was not the reaction, Al, of someone who felt internally, I just made my first NBA Finals. That was the reaction of someone who felt internally, I'm about to win my first championship. I think that young Spurs team, understandably, I guess, viewed the Thunder as that series as the championship, and that this is now going to be, not easy, but not nearly as hard as what we just overcame, and we have home court and all of this, and they have now found out something different. So I could see a scenario where Wemby scores 20 in the first half and doesn't finish with 30. Like that, something of an inverse of Game 2, where he has this monster first half and then quiet second half. And the Knicks have shown this piece, KW, there is no deficit they can be, as long as they never get down more than 25.
Yeah,
they will believe they are going to.
It goes back to the Celtics
back.
series. They've done. I think they have 2 20-point comebacks in the last 2 years, right?
Well, no,
it was in that series.
But they were down 22 to Cleveland with 8 minutes left in Game 1 of that series. Yeah.
Trae Young-esque performance from Wemby coming up, according to Al. I love it. I love it. Goal of the year from the USA, the voice of Fox Soccer, John Strong, joins us next. Joining us now is the voice of Fox Soccer, John Strong. John, welcome back to the show. I've got a very simple question to kick us off. How excited are you for this World Cup to start? I got to ask a few questions. How's your research going? He's calling tons
the
of
heavy
games.
lifting's done, yeah. It's been a month and a half of kind of working around the clock to get ready. We're doing a lot of games. We're seeing a lot of teams. But to the larger point you bring up, I mean, we've been thinking about this for 8 years, since the vote was taken to award the hosting rights. That was the day before the 2018 World Cup. And, being here in the studio in LA, we've got all of our, big star athlete studio talent. They're doing rehearsals. I just passed James Corden in the hallway a few minutes ago. He's starting to rehearse his late night show. You can feel it, and we're going to be down at U.S. camp tomorrow meeting with Mauricio and the players, and great scenes at Orange County today with how many fans came out. That's incredible. So it feels like it's here. It's incredibly exciting.
Nice.
All right, John, a little something about me. Some would say I have a bit of a gambling problem. I'm someone that says I just, like to have a little something on games. Because of that, I watch a lot of early Saturday morning Premier League, some Sunday morning as well.
Okay.
And sometimes when I'm watching those games, one of the things rattling around in my head is, I don't ever see a goal like that when I'm watching the U.S. men's national team. There's the high quality things that I see. I'm like, okay, that's probably why we have a ceiling in the World Cup. Anthony Robinson's goal looked like as good as any goal you're going to see in any match in any league around the world. I'm less interested in whether or not this was the goal of the year. It obviously was. And more interested in what a moment like that against Germany can do for a team's confidence when they are preparing to play in the biggest tournament that any of them have ever played in.
I think there's 2 answers there. The first is there's a famous old quote from former coach Bruce Arena. He was asked years ago, what makes Clint Dempsey a good player for this team? And he said, well, he tries stuff. He used a different word, but you get my point. And that's a part of it. The players around the world are willing to try stuff, like what Anthony Robinson's doing. He's not bringing the ball down. He's not settling it. He's like, I'm going to hit this first time and see what happens. That's an important part of success in anything, right? Is taking a risk like that. You shank it, you mishit it. He hit that beautifully. And I think the other part of it is the same as Pulisic getting the goal a week and a half ago against Senegal. There's a couple individual guys who have had a long road back to this World Cup. Anthony Robinson had a year and a half of injuries. He said in the fall he wasn't sure if he was going to be playing in this World Cup. Serginho Dest has been injured a bunch. We've talked about Pulisic and his struggles scoring goals. That's what's been so encouraging with these 2 warm-up games, is the individuals who have had moments to build confidence. And that's the biggest thing that's encouraging me about the U.S. team now going into Friday night's opener, is how encouraged they all are and how encouraged the coaching staff is by some of the moments and some of the little performances we've seen in the 2 warm-up games. This camp couldn't have gone any better, honestly, to get them ready for Friday night.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you, John, about the last 2 friendlies. People felt like it was important for us to really play well in those. We split with 2 higher-ranked teams in the world. Where's your confidence level for Team USA now versus where it was before these last 2 friendlies against Senegal and Germany?
It's definitely higher, for sure. I mean, these are tough games. They're sort of like preseason games, right? You're making a ton of subs at the half. You're not playing with the same intensity. You're not playing it either as a player or a coach like you would play a regular season or a World Cup game. So you have to take everything you see with a bit of that context. But I'm absolutely more encouraged. I've loved the way the U.S. has played the first 20 minutes of both of those games. The way they're attacking, the combinations they're creating, the dynamism we're seeing from players all over the field, that's been hugely encouraging. Now the challenge is, can you extrapolate that and do that for 90 minutes? And also understanding the opponents the U.S. played, Senegal, Germany, very different than the opponents they'll play in the group stage. Both of Germany and Senegal, they want to play. They want to attack themselves. Paraguay Friday night, Australia next Friday, Turkey the week after are going to be the opposite of that. They're going to be trying to not play. They're going to be trying to obstruct and destroy. They're going to be trying to physically outmuscle the U.S., trying to frustrate them emotionally. So it's a very different type of challenge the U.S. is going to get in these 3 group stage games. But as I said, this was as well just about as this could have gone, that everyone comes in feeling confident, feeling like they have a real rhythm and some real momentum going in.
Once Pulisic scored his goal against Senegal, it felt like one of the storylines that we had been hammering leading up to the World Cup, we kind of put away. It's like, thank goodness the Pulisic drought is over. What other storylines do you have for Friday's game against Paraguay?
I think trying to figure out where Serginho Dest best fits, and in general, who's the danger guy on the other side of the field. Christian Pulisic is at his best when you can't focus all your defensive resources on him. So having a guy on the other side of the field, whether that's a Weston McKennie or a Tim Weah or probably more likely Serginho Dest, that's going to make Pulisic that much more dangerous. I think trying to figure out who's going to set up next to Tyler Adams has been important. Do you want a Sebastian Berhalter in there? Do you want a Malik Tillman in there? And we've seen some of those combinations. And then the other thing I would see, all of our expectations is that Matt Freese is going to be the starting goalkeeper. Well, he's going to be the least experienced starting goalkeeper for the U.S. at a World Cup since 1990. I mean, it really is remarkable how different this dynamic is. And so for Freese, being on the same page with his defenders, he had a couple nice moments against Germany. That one's going to be big. Listen, I think the biggest thing for all of this is there's a bunch of unknowns just because of how the last couple of years have gone. You don't go through the qualifiers. You've had a coaching change. There is an element for everyone here of not being 100% sure what Friday night looks like. And that's part of what I've been saying to people and what I think everyone in our group is in agreement on. This is the most pressure-packed game these guys have played their whole lives, because the opportunity Friday night, if you win this opener, the whole country gets on board. Yep. You kind of breathe a sigh of relief and get that confidence. It's not going to be easy, but the opportunity to start that snowball momentum of what this could be hosting a World Cup, that's the opportunity of winning the game Friday against Paraguay here in LA.
So that's kind of where I want to go with this. In new World Cup format with the expanded World Cup, obviously the top 2 in each group advance, as has always been the case, but also 8 of the 12 third-place teams advance. Some of the folks that have run simulations and done the analytics on it have basically said as following. If you have 5 or more points in your group, you're a lock to advance. 4 or more points, you're about 2 out of 3 to advance. And anything under that, you're potentially in trouble. So here's why I ask you that. What that means is you need, getting a win versus multiple draws is hugely important. what is the game you think, obviously they want to win against Paraguay, but is that the game most likely to result in the 3 points, or would that be Australia in your opinion? What is the game most likely for the USA to have circled as a win, and the other ones maybe take a draw if you can get it?
Well, I don't think you could circle any of these. I mean, and that's the Australians have whipped themselves into a frenzy in the last couple of weeks over what they perceive as just a concerted nationwide amount of disrespect from all of us Americans. So they are going to be up for that game big time in Seattle. I think one of the things that makes this group so interesting is that all 4 teams look at their opponents and go, we can beat any of those guys. We can win this group, no problem. There's a confidence. There's no gimmies, but there's also no games out there where, well, we don't stand a chance against them. There's a weird psychological thing that happens because your point is correct. It doesn't matter which of the 3 you're getting the results in as long as you finish with the points. However, in the U.S. World Cup history, anytime they have won or gotten a tie in the opening game, they've always advanced to the next round. Anytime they've lost the opening game, they've always gone out in the group stage.
Uh-oh.
And that is generally true across history. The vast majority of teams that get a good result opening night tend to advance. Now, sometimes you get an Argentina. They lost their opener at the last World Cup. They won the whole thing. That's the exception. So that's where worry about Australia later. Worry about Turkey later. You got to get at least something out of this. But as I said, I think a win, build confidence, build momentum, get casual sports fans engaged and excited about this. That is of the utmost importance. Not going to be easy because Paraguay is excellent at making life miserable. And they're going to make life miserable for the U.S. in this game. But this is the most sort of must-win thing you can think of, just from a larger big picture standpoint.
John, thank you so much. Have a great World Cup. World Cup starts Thursday on Fox and FS1. Then USA Paraguay Friday at 9 o'clock. Coverage starts at 6. John, good luck. Have a great World Cup.
Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
Live from New York, first things first, overtime with props. Today, no panic from the Spurs. But is this necessarily a bad thing? Maybe it's a good thing.
No.
Maybe they should be panicking. I don't know.
You don't want panic.
No, but Nick wants them to be like the sky is falling.
No, I don't want them to be the sky is falling.
In the press conference.
I don't want that.
They're too good. They're too good. We got no answers.
I wouldn't mind them paying a little respect to the team that's kicked their ass 4 games in a row.
The games are close.
It's been, you know what, Brew? It's been a close 4-game sweep.
Well, that can happen.
It's on the board.
That can happen.
Meanwhile, new article from Tyler Dunn's Substack?
Yeah, golongtd.com.
golongtd.com, which Nick has a little piece of.
No, I don't.
I think, Nick's is agent.
You advertise it a lot.
I like print journalism. I didn't work for the great lady.
Can I tell you something? The only reason it's print journalism is because we have to print it off.
Yeah. I like people that pay for media.
Shout out to Tyler Dunn, jokes aside. He does a great job.
It is a great
unique article on Josh Allen we discuss. And finally.
It didn't age well. It was really fun read, but didn't age well.
Yeah, thank you.
I thought it aged great. And finally, what would a Knicks sweep mean? Alongside Chris Broussard, I'm Kevin Wildes, Nick Wright, and Danny Parkins, who has brought a pillow as he increases his prop load in his ongoing feud with Ben Stiller.
It's not a feud with Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller,
you kept on saying, I'm in a feud with Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller seemed to be in a feud with me because of my bad Knicks takes, but he's a comedy hero of mine. I have a one-sided bet with him, which he has signed off on. He loves the idea.
Jump on it, KW.
What?
Jump on it.
What?
One-sided.
No.
I mean, he doesn't know anything.
That's not what he's jumping on.
Go ahead.
I know what he's jumping on. Do it.
Now, if I said Arnold Schwarzenegger was a bodybuilding hero of mine, the correct response would be, hold on, you want to be a bodybuilder?
No.
So when you say Ben Stiller's a comedy hero, do you actually want to be like a comedic actor? And does that explain your Spurs takes? Let's go! Let's go! Who's the funny guy now?
All right, well, we're in a feud. Still in a feud.
So he's going to have to
I'll be
sleep in the
spending a night
museum.
at the museum if the Knicks
we
win.
didn't
I explained the bit. You got to set up the bed. In fact, let me just jump down your throat for the props that you also signed off on.
He is a wannabe stand-up comedian.
No,
I can see that.
Diller wasn't a
Appreciator of the art form.
But you would like to do it.
Yeah, sure, I would like to. I'm just not funny enough.
You would like to be in Zoolander Part 3.
I would be great.
Then you got to step your game up for the walk-in videos. I'll tell you that much right now.
Okay, let's start the show. It's
a
I
passion
got a real
thing.
laugh from our staff.
playing defense against my takes over here.
Wemby is the first player to have back-to-back finals games with a turnover in the final minute of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
When the score's within 5 points, courtesy of Josh. It's not good. Basically, sold both games, as the kids would say. Here's Wemby.
Yeah, of course I like the shot, but I feel like in this moment you need to shoot to score. And in moments like this, it's like results matter more than process. If you know what I mean, we just need to score. I need to score. That's the whole point.
We'll let that go. All right. Did Wemby's mistakes cost the Spurs the series and your picks?
Well, my pick is definitely done. I had Spurs at 5. That is a mathematical impossibility. But let's divorce yourself from my picks and me being wrong for a second. I don't think what I
just loved it. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
I was wrong.
Forget the fact that I said the client didn't murder. Now that you've seen the video,
Am I allowed
now
to
let's
talk
talk
about
about
games?
sentencing. Go
Am
ahead.
I allowed to talk about the games, or is it only about how wrong I am? Is this whole thing just a vehicle to point out how wrong I am? Yes, I was wrong. I'm the only one to ever get anything wrong. I'll probably get this wrong too.
No.
I don't think the series is over.
Let's go!
I don't think it's over. I mean, the Knicks are a 5-1 favorite. It's not looking good, but these are two coin flip games that have gone the direction of the Knicks. The Spurs are a 1.5-point underdog in Game 3 tonight, and the most talented singular talent in the world has been borderline bad. Like, he's been good for stretches, and if Wemby plays 2 more games like he played the first 2, they will lose because he flatly has not been good enough. So I don't think the series is over, but I do think Game 2 is squarely on him. Like, I am shocked at some of the discussion on how Mitch Johnson should have called a timeout. I think that is... And I know Al Harrington said it, and he'll be on later in the OT, and I obviously respect his acumen, but a ton of people have said it. That is a clear play-on situation. Mitchell Robinson is not in the game at the moment. He's not in the game. And then when they foul, and they sub him in for defense. Mitchell Robinson's on the bench in that spot. You are supposed to get that rebound and pass the ball to your point guard. I have no idea.
So do you put more of it on Castle?
It's on Wemby. De'Aaron Fox is on the floor. Pass the ball to your point guard and let him establish the shot because it's a tie game. It's a tie game. So the coach is thinking, go. Their best defensive player is off the court. Set up a shot. And worst case scenario, we go to overtime. Instead, Wemby panics, throws it off Castle's back, then commits the foul, then misses the shot. Ball game. So, yeah, the Spurs are in this spot because of Wemby, plain and simple.
If he's – because you emphasize point guard. Did you not like him even wanting to get it to Castle? So let's say –
I thought Fox is under the basket, wide
he's
open.
Coming on the other side.
I think it is a clear get the rebounds, get it to your best ball handler.
Because they usually push it up, whether it's Castle or Harper.
But they didn't
or
need to
Fox
play with
or
pace there.
No,
because they're holding for the last shot.
But Mitch Johnson is going like this, and he's on that side, and he sees it.
And again, it was Wemby's fault. But he and Castle made eye contact initially.
Yeah.
And I think when Wemby put the ball down, Castle said, okay, he's going to bring it up, I guess, and then looked away. But anyway, I mean, if they lose this, like say they get swept, and this would be viewed as a turning point, because to Nick's point earlier, at the very least, you're going to overtime when they get this rebound. You could theoretically, I guess, literally say that play cost them the series. I do think Wemby's performance in the last few minutes or last minute when he made those mistakes and then just not playing well in the first half cost them game 2. But I can't go as far as to say he cost them the series. Even if literally you could say it because this was the pivotal game.
Mm-hmm.
They're obviously, we all know they're not in this position without Wemby.
Yeah.
They don't have a chance to win that game without Wemby. And while he has not been himself, let's put it that way, he's averaging 27.5 points, 10.5 rebounds, and 3.5 blocks in this series. No other Spur, now he's shooting 40%, which is poor, 27 from 3. No other Spur is averaging even 16 points a game. And the only Spur shooting above 44% is Dylan Harper, who is coming off the bench. Now, Harper's playing well. He's averaging 15.5 points. But my point is, like, I can't say a guy cost them the series when he's by far their leading scorer and rebounder. And so I can't go that far. But, yeah, that play was obviously costly and hurt them in game 2.
Yeah, to be cliche, they say pressure is a privilege, and, you know, a cousin of that is being held to the best player in the world standard is the privilege imposed upon you when you are considered one of, if not the best player in the world. And the even higher standard is being held to the historical greatest players ever standard. And that is that play right there people will just mention that play up until he wins a championship.
Yeah.
And if the discussion around Wemby is anything close to the discussion around LeBron, they'll mention that play even after he's won championships. Like that Magic Johnson still, like, right. Again, people don't hang it around his neck, but how many times have we said Tragic Johnson on the show to reference that moment for him?
I was wondering if you thought it was going to be like with J.J. Barea.
So
I mean, that was year 8. He's 26 years old. He had been to a final. So I was thinking about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that was the 07 finals. LeBron didn't play well. His team was also the huge underdog rather than the huge favorite.
He
didn't melt down 07. He just was out. He didn't play well, and his team was outmatched. 2011, he didn't have a singular moment like that, but what he had was, many people would say, was just far worse. He was wildly passive, and then the game 5 where he just didn't want to shoot the ball, that was like a slow motion car crash.
That was worse than
that was. I agree, because it wasn't one moment. My point is, LeBron went on from that moment to make 8 more finals, win 4 more championships, win Finals MVP, and it's still brought up. It is still referenced. I don't know if Wemby will be subjected to that, but the greatest ever, the guys in that room are subjected to it. But I want to, if we can, before we move on to Kat, discuss what you said at the beginning about a level of confidence in the Spurs that they clearly have that I just don't think is warranted. Jalen Brunson, one thing you got right is not the only thing, but one thing specific you got right was that the Spurs' perimeter defense was going to give Jalen Brunson trouble.
That's true.
I don't even think you thought to the tune of 34% from the floor, 24% from 3. I think it's fair to expect for however long this series goes on, he'll play a little better than efficiency-wise than he has. Josh Hart has 3 total points. I would challenge you to find one Spur who you think is playing great. Who, it's okay, maybe Dylan Harper feels okay, but I don't, he wasn't in the end of the game.
One you say is playing to his ability.
Yeah, the Knicks have beaten them 4 times in a row. The Knicks have, at the 6-minute mark of the 4th quarter of both of these games, been up double digits, then squandered it quickly, and then won in the final moments. The Knicks have a player who, if it's close late, has full and total confidence in Jalen Brunson, has shown it in this series. Why don't you think it's over? Why do you think the Spurs have the ability to win 4 out of 5 against a team that has beaten them 4 out of 5?
If Wemby hits that 20-footer, it's 1-1.
Yes, but they now have to get 4. If he hits that 20-footer, they only need 3 wins. Now they have to get 4 wins.
No, I know, but I guess my point is they could have won both Game 1 and Game 2. So I do not believe it is some impossibility that they could win Games 3 and 4. If the Knicks could go into San Antonio and wins Game 1 and 2, I do believe that because no one on the Spurs has played to their level, if they, pressure's off, no one expects us to win, whatever the narrative is that we would reverse engineer after the fact, if some of those guys just play 10% better, Castle, Fox, Wemby, whomever, the games have been close enough that I do think if some people on the Spurs start playing well, they can win these games.
But the flip side, too, no team has ever lost the first 2 at home and come back to win the championship, is no team has ever won the first 2 games on the road and lost the finals.
Yeah.
So we would be relying on a Knicks team that is on literally in the argument for the greatest playoff heater in the history of the sport to all of a sudden go historically cold. A team that has not lost a game since the first day of the NFL draft and has won 13 games in a row to lose at least 2 of 3 home games along with all of the road games en route to losing 4 or 5. I just don't think – I think the series has been mispriced all along. And I think they're minus 500. I think they should be closer to minus 1,000 right now as far as the likelihood of them winning the series.
Game 2, Cat, 21 points, 13 rebounds. He's shooting 56% from 2, 43% from 3 in this finals. Hasn't missed a free throw. Here's Cat post-game.
It's about impact and winning, and especially this year, throughout the year, I've always had to change my role for the betterment of the team. I've always had to change the way I play so it could be most beneficial for the team. And taking all that experience this year, I've had to do it on the fly. It wasn't like game by game. It's been quarter by quarter, and that comes with experience and just knowledge of the game.
MVP for you, Danny?
Without a question, should be unanimous. Now, it's 2 games in, so I think it's obviously possible that changes. Like Brunson could have a 40 or a 50-point game, and Brunson had a 13-point fourth quarter and has had signature moments of it. But I think if we've watched all 8 quarters of the series, he's clearly been the best player. And the thing that was supposed to be the biggest mismatch for the Spurs, the reason why I think 3 of the 4 of us picked the Spurs was, well, obviously, Wemby is such a huge edge for the Spurs over the Knicks at that spot, and it's gone the other way.
Right.
That is just an out-of-nowhere development through 2 games, even though Cat has been great this year and he has played great defense this year and he has had a good playoffs and he has been selfless and he's been saying all of the right things. That is not out of nowhere. But I don't think anybody, like you said before, I did not think Brunson would be this bad. Even if you picked the Knicks, I don't think anybody who picked the Knicks, I don't think a Knicks fan would have said Karl Anthony Towns is going to outplay Victor Wembanyama in this series. And if we show what he's done in the series on offense and defense, the offense is just crazy efficient, and 34.5% field goal percentage allowed against him, Wemby being 7 of 19.
With 7 turnovers. As many turnovers as made baskets is crazy.
Cat in the regular season allowed shooters to shoot nearly 48% against him. In last year's playoffs, he allowed shooters to shoot nearly 47% against him. This is an out-of-nowhere defensive heater, if such a thing exists, for Karl Anthony Towns against one of the rarest talents in the history of the sport. I can't believe what I'm watching.
I agree with you that Cat is the finals MVP right now. And here are the stats between Cat and Jalen Brunson. And Brunson's obviously outscoring him, but everything else, even the assists being tied, is big to me. And that shows, something a positive for Cat. But the percentages, he's much more efficient. The only thing I disagree with you on, Danny, is you saying it's not even close. Because Brunson obviously was the hero of game 1, so you could give him an edge there. And then he did play fairly well in game 2, at least hit the game-winning free throws, and I think had 7 points in the fourth quarter. Cat, while I do think he's MVP, is scoreless in the fourth quarters in this series. So if a voter looked at that and said, you know what, I'm going to go with Jalen because he's had the bigger moments and was obviously the hero of game 1, I could see that. I think it's Cat, but I don't think it's as much of a landslide as you were saying.
Right now, I think Jalen, the Vegas odds favor Brunson.
I know. I think that's narrative and he's more popular.
Well, but it also, listen, it also is he hit the shot to ice game 1.
Yeah.
After being the go-to guy in that fourth quarter. And in game 2, he hit the shot to tie the game, and then I guess technically got the steal. You know, with he was the guy there. You could see his eyes.
Up with the ball.
His eyes got wide.
It was
he
an easy
recognized
one,
it.
but
And made the free throw. Shockingly missed the second one. But I do think part of the Vegas odds are projection. They think he's more likely to be excellent late. But I just have so much respect for Cat really walking the walk on doing what the team needs. And Christina, I don't know if we can show the 2 Cat passes, but you said, KW, that going into this game, it was the most assists he'd had in like a 13-game stretch of his career. That pass was unbelievable. Yeah. And this was in the first half when the Knicks were trying to take the lead. And then what I thought was going to be the moment that the game ended was started by, if we show the next one, a crazy Cat pass, just the guts to throw it over the top of Wemby standing there to see it, deliver it on target, and then OG gets I thought the game was over there. They're up 14 with 6 minutes left. The crowd is stunned. The Knicks are playing with so much confidence that OG's like, I'm going to Akeem Olajuwon this dunk in your face. And so I thought it was, and so his versatility has been stunning. And so right now I think it's a coin. I don't think it's unanimous. Like, I think you can make the argument for Brunson because of the clutch stuff. And I also think Cat, lastly, deserves tremendous credit for not doing the dumb early foul stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought he got I thought it was a very tough whistle that knocked him out of the game in the third quarter, especially the offensive foul in the and one.
Knicks had a tough whistle.
I thought the Knicks had a tough whistle the whole game, but Cat gave himself, enough margin of error on the fouls early, which I thought was really important.
All right, quick look ahead to Game 3 and 4. The Knicks are favored tonight. A chorus of Knicks in 4 is sweeping the series, Danny. What would a Knicks sweep mean?
Enters the conversation for most improbable finals result in the history of the sport?
Finals result?
Yeah, finals result.
Oh, I
taking the whole season into consideration.
Yeah, the whole thing. Because it's clearly one of the best playoff runs ever. That's just quantifiable with the win streak, and it would be 15 straight and sweeping the last 3 rounds and all of it, which has never been done. You guys have been showing the point per game differential, but just a sweep, like this team, a 3 seed, 52-win team sweeping the Spurs with Victor Wembanyama would just be so utterly shocking to me that I think it would be in that team photo.
Quick trivia: the last favorite to get swept in the NBA Finals. Anybody know? Because there's some similarities here. Shaq's 1995 Orlando Magic.
Oh.
The last time a favorite got swept, because remember that Rockets team was a 6 seed, but they were at least champions.
Well, and that was the team I'm thinking of when you said most stunning champion, because it's not a ton of out of the blue NBA champions. So
I just think that all of those things they might not be everyone's number one answer, but if we were doing like the Family Feud style of it, they'd be in the conversation for all of those things.
Yeah, I also think it would mean. It's just another signpost. Warning, beware of dog. Warning, beware of dynasty talk in the modern NBA. Now maybe the Knicks, because they are still, even to this moment, I think a little disrespected. Maybe it stops with them winning the championship. Maybe we're like, okay, but all of the premature anointing, Brian Windhorst reminded me of this morning. Bill Parcells had an old quote, let's put away the anointing oil. All of that has been about what's coming in the everybody better watch out, because Victor Wembanyama is about to own the league, and if he doesn't, the Thunder are about to. And the big bad Western Conference. I do know this. Then the last 3 years, the champion has been the Boston Celtics. If the Knicks win, the New York Knicks. And in the middle, a Pacers team that nobody believed in, that went to a Game 7 and had their best player blow out his Achilles. Like, there is a level of us having to recalibrate who can win the title based on who is playing at their best and at their most whole in the postseason than who's been the best in the regular season?
Well, it would be great for the league because, and I mean the executives around the league on the different teams, because there has been a sense of inevitability around Wemby taking over. And this is giving teams strategies
not just beating him,
sweeping him, man, out of nowhere. Welcome back to First Things First. We got Coach Mangini hanging out. Let's go to Buffalo, where the Bills' OTAs are underway with a, quote, rejuvenated Josh Allen leading the charge per Tyler Dunn's terrific one-on-one with Allen on golongtd.com. Subscribe. I don't even think you need to rate and review. Just subscribe to it. Paywall journalism. In the article, tight end Dawson Knox talked about the Super Bowl hopes for his team and his quarterback, and he says, I can't imagine the weight of an entire city on your shoulder like Josh Allen has. We're going to win one. And he's finally going to be able to bring a ring and a Lombardi to the city, and it'll be multiple Lombardis before he's done. Coach, do you believe that a Super Bowl for Josh Allen in Buffalo is an inevitability?
I think it's a nice idea by Dawson Knox to be that supportive of him, but it's writing a check for him that he didn't write himself. And look, hopefully he'll be able to get to a Super Bowl. I think that's the first step, is them getting the Super Bowl. And that's got a lot more challenging. So last year, he had probably the best road in the sense that no Mahomes, no Lamar Jackson, no Joe Burrow, and wasn't able to do it. Now the New England Patriots have completely revitalized their franchise. They've gotten to a Super Bowl. Say what you want about Drake May, but we're talking about a young, emerging quarterback in the division. And then even if they get to the Super Bowl, it looks like the NFC is a much harder conference for the AFC to overcome. So I get what he's saying, and I think that a lot of people have been saying that for a long time. But until we actually see some jumps here, it's hard to.
It's funny. I try to be rational and like logical, and the rational, logical answers, of course it isn't inevitable. If Dan Marino got to one early and then never gets one, and he's one of the greatest ever, or Charles Barkley, or whatever athlete you want to say from whatever sport is the best player to never do it, why would Josh Allen be any different? And only one team gets to hoist the trophy, and Mahomes isn't done, and Lamar, and the depth of the teams in the NFC, and there's a new coach, and we'll see how that goes. All of the reasons logically to say it's not going to happen. And I know that an individual doesn't dominate in football like basketball. And I still think he's too good not to win one. I will just be shocked if a guy who I think is right now, pound for pound, the best player in football, all respect to Mahomes, but the statistics show it out. The eye test with the highlights show it out. Like, the most important position, 30 years old, should have a long career in front of him. I'll just be shocked if he ends up on that list with Dan Marino and Charles
What's your
Barkley.
last memory of him last season?
Not playing.
We got the fumble.
Yep, you had the fumble and then the miss to knock.
Yeah, you got those two moments where when you think of Patrick Mahomes, and I know we talk about pound for pound, he's the better quarterback, but it's those big defining moments, and he's had a lot of big defining moments. I'm not taking that away.
He's been great in the playoffs in the aggregate.
But there was the path, there was the moment, there was the misstep, and now when you change the coaching staff, there's a learning curve for the new head coach. And Lamar Jackson, they're saying the same thing in Baltimore. We're not going to just host one. We should host multiple with Lamar Jackson. And to your point, you say he's going to play for a long time. But the other part of that article was, I'm going to be me. I'm going to do the things that have made me so successful, which means taking a lot of hits, taking a lot of abuse. He just turned 30. And we see it all the time with these great athletic, physical, running quarterbacks. It's hard for them to sustain their career, as late as a Tom Brady or Peyton Manning because of the beating they take.
No, and no one ever wants to even speak this into existence. But of course, one Achilles injury, and it feels a heck of a lot less inevitable. And I'm not naive to the history of someone has to be Phillip Rivers from this generation of great quarterbacks who have Hall of Fame type statistics, right? Like Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen all are not going to get one. The likelihood is they all don't get one. It's just very hard for me even within parsing the greatness between those guys. Like Lamar, Joe, Josh. The Ravens probably have the most stable organization. Joe has been there. Josh is, I would say, the best player. Of those three, I would still bet on Josh Allen to be the most likely to get it.
But when you look at this offseason and you look at everything that happened last year, don't you think they're further behind than they were going? Because now we've changed head coaches.
Yep.
So that's one component.
So
and,
the
New England Patriots just went to the Super Bowl. So you've got to deal with them twice a year. You've got to get out of that division. That whole going into last season, what was New England, 4-13?
So right. Sure. It turns fast.
The math has changed dramatically just in their own division, and who knows how good the new coaching staff is going to be. Hopefully, it's the right move for them. But it's now this big unknown that wasn't there going into the last year.
Pretty introspective piece on Josh Allen. You should read it at golongtd.com. Let's go to L.A., Coach. Myles Garrett is getting comfortable in his new home, settling in rather quick. And he's been asked questions about Aaron Donald's potential return. Here's Myles Garrett on the matter.
I haven't talked yet, but definitely expect to talk soon. I don't know what his plans are, and not going to pretend to know. I know a lot of people are excited and thrilled about the idea of him coming back, but just being able to talk to him, learn from him, and I'll take all the advice I can.
What would a Myles Garrett-Aaron Donald duo mean for the Rams?
It could be a great situation, and I know I was seeing an interview 2 years ago where they asked him if he'd come back. And he said, no, and his wife said, yeah. And so there's a little more enthusiasm as a family at that point. But he just turned 35.
Yep.
He's been out for a couple of years. He's retired with a ton of success, a Super Bowl championship, a lot of money, his health. It's going to take a significant lobbying job, plus, I would imagine, a ton of money, plus a constricted sort of schedule of requirements for him to
You think
come
a ton of money?
Play. Yeah.
Okay.
When you look at the course of his career, I think it was one season he missed 4 or 5 games. Besides that, he played almost every single game. So now you've been on the couch for 2 years. It takes a lot to do what he does at such a high level. And he's an amazing athlete, but he hasn't been in that grind. And it's a physical grind. It's a mental grind. He's hit every single play. He's been living a really, I would imagine, great life outside of football.
Sure, he's very happy.
To get him to come back, it would take a lot.
The fact that he sent that text to McAfee saying he was considering it after the Myles Garrett news, the fact that Les Snead said they're open to the conversation, Myles Garrett sounds like he wants to get in on the recruiting pitch. Aaron Donald retired with something left in the tank. And more power to him. He's, on the one hand, greatest defensive player of my lifetime that I've ever seen. Guy played 10 years. He made first-team All-Pro 8 of the 10 years, including his last season. He was first-team All-Pro in his age 32 season when he retired. So it's not like he drove the car to empty. So what it was like, he had something left, and then he sat out for a couple of years. So I feel like the Rams, they still got McVay. Stafford is back for one last ride. They bring in Myles Garrett. They're the heavy Super Bowl favorites. They'll give him anything he wants in terms of practices off or training camp off, or you're going to be a rotational player and play 20 or 25 snaps a game. Like, I feel like he'd be able to set his terms, maybe short of the financials, that at this point, I'm expecting it to happen. But again, I've never put on the shoulder pads.
Right, but to your point, he did have a lot left in the tank, and he could have played a lot longer than he did. But there's a reason that he parked his car, and there's the physical component of what you have to do to be ready to play in the NFL and play at the level that he played at. And then there's the...
And he wants to come back and be Aaron Donald. He doesn't want to come back and be a passenger.
He doesn't want to come back and everybody looks at it and says, well, you should have stayed retired. He wants to be the guy that he was. And that takes a ton of work and effort and sacrifice, all those things that go into being great. Maybe they can set it up to where he plays the second half of the season. Maybe they bring him back.
Like a Roger Clemens situation.
Yeah, like a late in the year, give him 3 or 4 weeks to get ready. Don't have no expectations of him playing right away. And if they're doing well and they're in the push, maybe that's when you could say, hey, we just need you to help us be the closer.
And when people make the Phillip Rivers comp, apples and oranges because of the position that we were asking him to play?
Yeah, the Phillip Rivers thing to me was amazing.
Yeah.
It's still mind-boggling, but it does at least give an example of a guy who was able to come in and play at a level that nobody I knew expected him to play at.
Yeah, different level of physicality, though, to play the position for Aaron Donald. All right, Coach, we're going to have Al Harrington come out. He's still in the building, even though he's got to get to MSG in like an hour. So we're going to talk NBA Finals with the former Knick coming up on the O2. Welcome back to the OT. Al Harrington hanging out now, starting with the Spurs, who find themselves in a 2-0 hole heading into tonight's Game 3. Wemby, though, after Game 1, said he wasn't worried in the slightest. Honestly, he kind of kept up the same confidence after Friday night's loss. Take a listen.
I think the key is acceptance a lot of times, and taking a step back, realizing the journey that's behind us and what's ahead of us, and just being okay with who I am, where I am, what I'm doing. I think the end of the day, this is everything that I wish for, so there's no reason to really overthink it, this is what I'm built for.
So, Al, the basketball is the first, second, third most interesting part about all this. But I have been fascinated by how the Spurs have carried it. Yeah. Because it hasn't just been Wemby, who we know is really into mindfulness. Stephon Castle has flat out said after loss, we think we're the better team. They don't seem worried. Right. Yet they are down 2-0 in the NBA Finals, about to walk into the world's most famous arena in what will be one of the all-time basketball in-stadium fan environments ever. Right. Are you surprised by how they are carrying themselves and that they don't seem panicked?
I'm not really surprised, man. I think they've been showing this kind of the entire playoffs, right? Before the playoffs started and into the regular season, they were obviously playing really well. I was always saying, they're young, they're immature, it's gonna show.
Yeah, you thought they were too young to get here.
But they were too young to get here, and I was wrong, right?
Yeah.
And I think the reason why they've gotten here is because of the confidence that they have, right? They have this kind of youthful ignorance kind of confidence.
Sure.
That has allowed them to do what they're doing.
You hear that all the time, though. You don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. And then with Wemby, I think they take on a little bit of their leader, right? And with Wemby, I don't know if it's just because he spent time, with the Shaolin monks and all that kind of stuff. But it's given him this confidence and this bravado that for him is just nothing's too serious. I'm going to figure it out. And I think that's kind of where he's at. And I think that them playing in New York specifically in this environment, I honestly think they might play a little bit better than they played at home. Because at home, there's a lot of expectation there. Obviously, you're supposed to win. But all great players love the road. They love playing on the road because that's an opportunity where they don't have much to lose and then go prove people wrong, right? And obviously this Garden crowd is going to be crazy and they're going to be shouting stuff at them. They've been shouting stuff at them walking to the bus, just going to practice and shoot around.
I love that.
So I think all of that stuff will actually fuel him and fuel his team. And I think that they'll probably play their best game in this series tonight.
Okay, that's fascinating because I do want to talk more about the Garden and the environment tonight and that you're going. We'll get to that in just a second. But I want to show you the history of what's happened to them. And then I'm wondering if what happened at the end of Game 2 is at all a sign of their youth and inexperience. Losing 2 finals games at home when you had a lead in the final 3 minutes of the game, it has happened once in the history of the NBA, and it took Michael Jordan hitting the shot, stealing the ball from Karl Malone for it to be the second time that it happened in that series to the Jazz. And it's happened to the Spurs in Games 1 and 2. They had the lead in the final couple of minutes at home, and they've blown it. And at the end of Game 2, Wemby gets a rebound and throws it off Stephon Castle's back. And they are carrying it post-game like they are not concerned about that at all. But that moment right there feels a little panicky to me. You throw the ball to your point guard,
They're young, man. But to the point of the fact that you can't discount that they were in position to win both games that they lost.
Yes.
They lost the games because they were young and inexperienced. So my whole thing is maybe you do learn from those situations kind of on the fly. And we'll see tonight, right?
But if they lose tonight, would you expect them to come out after the game and be like, we're right where we're supposed to be?
No, I think
we still have a chance to win. It's an amazing level of zen that we've seen in the NBA before, like Phil Jackson, famous for it, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, but not generally speaking 22-year-olds, youngest finals team ever in the history of the NBA to have this zen-like calm.
Right. I think reality will start to set in or whatever.
If they lose tonight. But I also think that, having like the Popoviches and having Tim and Ginobili and all those guys around the team as well, being that with their championship pedigree and probably some of the conversations they're having with those guys might be affecting them as well on the positive side and keeping them like even and just like it's not over yet, right? You have to win 4 games. They have to beat you 4 games in a row to get to their ultimate goal, and they shouldn't be able to do that because we're a good team. And the fact that both games, we were right there. We were knocking at the door to winning game 1 and 2. Let's go win a game on the road. That's what they got to be saying, and I think that that's kind of exuding from out of the players currently. All right, it's a tremendous honor that Al is still with us because he actually has a great ticket to tonight's game. So we're going to talk about the environment that you're walking into. Knicks fans took over San Antonio. We've seen Knicks fans be everywhere. The watch parties, although they're not happening tonight, which we can get to. Knicks are up 2-0. I'm curious about what you think games 3 and 4 will look like in the Garden, but first, here's Wemby and Landry Shamet on the impact of the atmosphere.
Isolating myself is something I've practiced over the years, and I think I'm good at it, so it's not a problem.
All bets are off. I don't know. I don't know what it'll be like, but I keep telling myself I'm going to stop being surprised by Knicks fans and what they do and how they show up. So I'm sure it'll be an unbelievable atmosphere.
You've been to a lot of these games. In this playoff run, in your playing days at the Garden, what's your expectation for tonight?
It's going to be rocking and rolling there tonight. It's going to be an unbelievable atmosphere. I think about in my playing career, the loudest I ever heard the Garden was when Larry Johnson in the 1999 conference finals hit that three-pointer, which was the four-point
play, of course.
And then when he hit that shot, immediately it became 20 degrees hotter in the stadium. And it was like the stadium was like, it was like an earthquake. It was rocking. So I expect that type of energy in there. So if this game is close like these other games have been close, except for game 1, if it's close like game 2, and JB hits a game winner or something like that, I think the top pops off actually. I think it's going to be that crazy into the night. But I also still believe that really good players and good teams thrive on the road, and they look for like, energy from the home crowd or from the opposing crowd, giving them energy of like trying to prove them wrong tonight. So I think the Spurs will come out, like I said, have their best game, but from the crowd and the fans of New York, it's going to be crazy tonight.
So I think it is going to be one of the all-time atmospheres. The president's going. He's going to get booed if he's on the broadcast on the Jumbotron. Like that's going to be a thing. No watch parties is going to be a thing. Right. Most expensive basketball ticket ever is a thing. That changes the dynamic a little bit, but Knicks tickets are always crazy expensive. So there will be real New Yorkers in there, and because real New Yorkers have enough money to get in there. Like honestly, I'm a diehard Bulls fan. Bulls lead the league in attendance for forever. I remember the Jordan era. I was there for a ton of the second three-peat. There's just a different thing here in New York with basketball and
it's the Mecca.
And I really don't like that as a Chicago basketball guy, but this city is totally unified behind the Knicks, and I have to take my hat off to them. They took over Cleveland, they took over Philly, they took over games 1 and 2 in San Antonio. It's been wildly impressive. But you alluded to it. The pressure of it. At jump, it's going to be amazing.
Yep.
When the Knicks were down big to the Cavs and then they started making that comeback, the crowd got into it.
Right.
Any chance Wemby comes out, levels the first punch, and the Garden gets tight, and the expectations and the hype starts to work against them? Any chance?
There's a chance, but I think that this team, the way that they've been playing this postseason, they have to be down 30, 40 to be out of a game.
Okay.
Like, honestly.
A mere 40?
A mere 40. Like, they have unbelievable
That's
confidence.
Unlikely.
They're going on unbelievable runs. Defensively, they're locked in. And, just seeing when they do get down 15 points, just their aura, just like how they just like, next play, let's get another stop, let's get a couple stops. Let's come back out of this timeout and be down 8. And they actually accomplishing those things.
It has been 9,849 days since the last New York Knicks win at the Garden in the NBA Finals.
Wow.
Knicks fans have been waiting for this one for a while. You're going to be in the house, though. Can't wait to see you on TV. They're going to show Chalamet, Stiller, Spike, the president, and then Al. I think that's the order of sequencing. Thanks for hanging out with us on the OT. Game 3 of the Finals tips off just about 2 hours from now. Spurs, of course, down 2-0. Need to get one, at least one, at MSG. Al, you're going to the game. Not sure anyone expects the Knicks to take both games on the road. Here we are. You said, I'm going to throw your take right back at you. You said if the Knicks got game 2, it'd be a sweep.
Where's my broom? Where's my broom? G, where's my broom?
Oh, man.
Where's my broom? Anybody got my broom?
We'll have a broom for you tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you expect Knicks tonight? What's the reason?
I expect them to win tonight because they're at home. They've been waiting to get back home. The crowd is going to be crazy. And I just think it's their time. They should win this game tonight. And impressively.
So both games 1 and 2 were coin flip games.
Yep.
And I've lost enough money in roulette in my day to know that if the first 2 spins come up black, it does not mean that the third spin is any more likely to come up black v red, right? The previous outcome doesn't change. If the Knicks win game 3, they're definitely winning game 4.
Yes, sir.
But I do think the Spurs are live tonight. I think that the pressure cooker of this situation, if Wemby lands the first haymaker and comes out hot, which we've seen him do a bunch in these playoffs, if he comes out hot and that crowd gets a little tense and the Knicks get a little tense, I could see the expectation of tonight backfiring and the Spurs stealing one.
I mean, they should win, right? Just because they're a great team. They came out of the mighty West. They beat the defending champions.
They are desperate.
They're not so desperate. They should not lose tonight, right? But I just feel like what's going on in New York right now, good luck, boys. Good luck.
Also, if one team blows them out, it's going to be the Knicks, and Brunson hasn't had a big game yet. It's probably going to be the Knicks.